If you're hearing this, you're already activating your light. Pause for a moment. Feel the weight of those words settle into your awareness. This is not chance. This is not coincidence. You have been drawn to this moment by forces both seen and unseen, by the quiet whisper of your soul that has been calling you towards something greater, something truer, something that has always existed within you, but has remained, until now, dormant. The hidden book of light is not merely words on a page or sounds in your ears. It is an ancient transmission, a code that has been passed down through generations of seekers, mystics, and ordinary people who dared to believe that transformation was not only possible, but inevitable. This knowledge has been hidden not because it was forbidden, but because it could only be discovered by those ready to receive it. And you are ready. Your presence here in this moment is proof. In this moment, you've crossed a threshold. The universe has aligned in such a way that this very audiobook is making its way to you. You've begun your transformation. Perhaps you're unsure of what lies ahead, but one thing is certain. You are about to discover a part of yourself that has been dormant, waiting for this precise moment. If you're hearing these words, know this: you have activated the seed of change. From this moment, everything will be different. What you're about to experience is not information to consume, but a journey to embody. Each chapter is a gateway, each insight a key. You will be challenged. You will be invited to see yourself differently. You will be asked to release what no longer serves you and embrace what has always been yours. This is your awakening. Welcome. Chapter 1. The Power of Now. You are here, truly, completely, undeniably here. But are you aware of it? Are you feeling the fullness of this moment? Or are you already somewhere else, lost in the echo of yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's anxieties? Most people spend their entire lives anywhere but now. They live in the prison of past and future, never realizing that the only moment that has ever existed, the only moment where life actually unfolds, is this one. The now is not just a moment in time. It is the canvas upon which all creation happens. It is the space where transformation lives and breathes. Every great change, every profound shift, every moment of awakening has occurred in the eternal now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. Consider this: the past is already gone, dissolved into memory and story. The future has not yet arrived and may never come in the form you imagine. All you have ever had, is this breath, this heartbeat, this singular point of awareness. And within this point lies infinite potential. Your mind resists this truth. It wants to pull you backward into analysis and forward into anticipation. This is its nature. The mind is a magnificent tool for planning and remembering, but it makes a terrible master. When you allow it to dominate your experience, you miss the only reality that exists, the present moment. Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Perhaps it was watching a sunrise, holding someone you love, or experiencing a moment of unexpected beauty. In those instances, you weren't thinking about your problems or your plans. You were simply present, fully absorbed in the experience. That presence, that pure awareness, is your natural state. It is the doorway to your transformation. The power of now is not passive. It is not about sitting still and doing nothing. Rather, it is about bringing your full consciousness to whatever you are doing. When you eat, truly taste your food. When you walk, feel each step. When you speak, mean each word. This is not about perfection, it is about presence. You see, transformation cannot happen in the past. What's done is done. It cannot happen in the future. That's merely a projection. Transformation happens only in the now, because now is the only place where you have agency, where you can make choices, where you can shift your awareness, and in doing so, shift your reality. Your life up until this moment has been shaped by countless choices, made in countless moments of now. But many of those choices were unconscious, automatic responses based on old programming, inherited beliefs, and conditioned patterns. You've been on autopilot, running scripts written by others, parents, society, past experiences, fears. This moment is different. In this moment, you are waking up to the power you've always possessed, but perhaps never fully recognized. You are becoming aware of your awareness. You are witnessing yourself as the witness. And in this witnessing, everything changes. Here is a practice for you. After you finish listening to this chapter, pause. Set aside just 3 minutes. Sit comfortably and do nothing but observe your breath. Don't control it. Simply watch it. Notice the cool air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the warm air leaving your body. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back to the breath. This simple act is revolutionary. You are training yourself to be present, to reclaim your attention from the endless chatter of thought. In these 3 minutes, you are not trying to achieve anything or become anyone. You are simply being. And in that being, you touch the infinite. You access the field of pure potential that exists beneath the surface of your conditioned mind. The mystics and sages have always known this truth. The now is where the divine meets the human, where the infinite touches the finite. When you are fully present, you align yourself with the flow of life itself. Resistance falls away. Anxiety diminishes. Joy becomes possible not because circumstances have changed, but because you have changed your relationship to circumstances. You are not a victim of time. You are a creator within it. Every moment offers you a choice. Remain lost in the fog of past and future, or awaken to the clarity of now. The choice is always yours, and it is always available. As you move through your day, carry this awareness with you. Notice when you slip into autopilot. Notice when you're rehashing old stories or worrying about future scenarios. And in those moments of noticing, gently return to now. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the quality of light around you. Listen to the sounds in your environment. This is not escape from life. This is full engagement with it. The power of now is the foundation of everything that follows. Without presence, there is no transformation, only the repetition of old patterns in new disguises. But with presence, with the full awareness of this moment, you become the alchemist of your own experience. You are already everything you need to be. The light you seek is not something you must acquire or achieve. It is something you must remember, something you must unveil. And that unveiling begins here, now, in the only moment that has ever truly existed. Breathe deeply, feel yourself here. This is your life, happening now. This is your transformation, beginning now. You are awakening right now. Welcome to the power of now. Welcome to the first step of your journey home to yourself. Chapter 2, Seeing Through the Illusions. You've been living in a story, and you didn't even know it was fiction. From the moment you were born, the world began telling you who you were, what you should want, how you should behave, and what would make you happy. Your family whispered their expectations. Society shouted its demands. Culture drew invisible lines you learned not to cross. And slowly, imperceptibly, you became a character in a script you never wrote. This is not your fault. We all inherit these stories. They are passed down like heirlooms, worn like clothing we never chose. You're not good enough. Success means this. Love looks like that. Safety requires sacrificing your dreams. These narratives burrow deep into your psyche, forming the lens through which you see yourself and the world. But here is the truth that changes everything. These stories are illusions. They are not reality. They are interpretations of reality, filtered through fear, conditioning, and collective agreement. And you have the power to see through them. Think about a belief you hold about yourself. Perhaps it's I'm not creative, or I'm not worthy of love, or I'll never be successful. Now ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Can you remember a specific moment when it was planted? Maybe a parent dismissed your artwork, a teacher mocked your ideas, or a relationship ended badly. In that moment, you created a story to explain the pain, and then you lived as if that story were true. But it wasn't true then, and it isn't true now. It was simply one possible interpretation among infinite possibilities. The child who was told they weren't creative didn't lack creativity. They encountered someone unable to recognize it. The person who felt unworthy of love didn't become unworthy. They experienced someone incapable of seeing their worth. The illusions you carry are not malicious lies. They are protective mechanisms, ways your psyche tried to make sense of a confusing world and keep you safe. But what once protected you now imprisons you. The walls you built to keep out pain also keep out possibility. Consider the grand illusion of separation, the belief that you are fundamentally separate from others, from nature, from the universe itself. This illusion creates fear. If you are separate, you must compete, defend, prove yourself worthy. You must accumulate and control to feel secure. You must guard your heart to avoid being hurt. But quantum physics reveals what mystics have always known. Separation is an illusion. At the subatomic level, everything is connected, entangled, part of an intricate web of relationships. The atoms in your body were once inside stars. The oxygen you breathe was exhaled by trees. The thoughts you think ripple out into the field of consciousness that connects all beings. When you see through the illusion of separation, compassion becomes natural. How can you truly harm another when you recognize they are another version of yourself? How can you hoard resources when you understand that giving and receiving are one movement? Another powerful illusion is the belief in fixed identity, the idea that you are a static self, unchanging and limited. Society loves this illusion because it makes you predictable, controllable, easily categorized. You are given labels, your profession, your demographic, your personality type, and soon you begin to believe that these labels define the boundaries of who you can be. But you are not a noun, you are a verb. You are not a fixed thing, but a dynamic process, constantly changing, evolving, becoming. The you of this moment is not the you of 10 years ago and will not be the you of 10 years from now. Every cell in your body regenerates. Every thought rewires your brain. Every choice creates new pathways. The belief that you cannot change is itself an illusion that prevents change. When you say, "This is just who I am," you are not speaking truth. You are reinforcing a story that feels safe because it's familiar. But familiarity is not the same as truth. There is also the illusion of unworthiness, perhaps the most pervasive and damaging story of all. This belief whispers that you are fundamentally flawed, that you must earn your place in the world, that love and happiness are rewards for good behavior rather than your birthright. Listen carefully. You are not broken. You never were. You came into this world whole, perfect, and radiant with potential. What happened is that you encountered a world that didn't always recognize your wholeness, and you internalized that blindness as fact. You mistook other people's limitations for your own. Your worthiness is not conditional. It does not increase with achievement or decrease with failure. It is not something you earn or lose. It simply is, like the sun behind the clouds, constant and unchanging even when obscured. To see through these illusions is not to deny your experiences or bypass your pain. It is to recognize that your interpretations of experiences are not the same as the experiences themselves. It is to question the stories you've been telling yourself and ask, is this true? How do I know it's true? What becomes possible if it isn't? This questioning is not about replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, though that can be helpful. It's about something deeper, recognizing the difference between your essential self and the stories you tell about yourself. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your history. You are the awareness that witnesses all of these, the consciousness that remains constant through all changes. When you begin to see through illusions, the world doesn't necessarily change immediately. The same circumstances may remain, but your relationship to those circumstances transforms completely. What once felt like an insurmountable obstacle becomes a challenge to navigate. What once seemed like rejection becomes redirection. What once looked like failure becomes feedback. This shift in perception is the beginning of freedom. You are no longer bound by the stories you inherited or the interpretations you created. You become the author of your own narrative, the artist of your own experience. Here is a practice. Choose one limiting belief you hold about yourself. Write it down. Then ask yourself, what would I do if this weren't true? Who would I be? How would I live? Don't try to convince yourself the belief is false. Simply imagine, just for a moment, what life would be like without it. Feel into that possibility. Let it expand in your awareness. This is how you begin to crack open the walls of illusion, not by fighting them directly, but by entertaining alternatives, by allowing possibility to seep into the cracks of certainty. The illusions you carry have shaped your life until now, but they don't have to shape your future. You are standing at a threshold where you can choose to see clearly, to question what you've always assumed, to recognize that the limits you experience are often not in the world, but in the way you've learned to see the world. The truth is this: you are far more powerful, far more free, and far more magnificent than any story has ever told you. The illusions served their purpose. They got you to this moment. But now it's time to see beyond them, to recognize them for what they are: temporary constructs, useful fictions, training wheels you no longer need. You are ready to see clearly now. You are ready to awaken from the dream of limitation into the reality of your infinite potential. The illusions are dissolving, and in their place, the light of truth is emerging. What you see when you look with clear eyes is nothing less than miraculous. You are not who you thought you were. You are so much more. Chapter 3. The Light Within You. There is a light inside you that has never been extinguished. Through every dark night of the soul, every moment of doubt, every experience of pain or loss, this light has remained constant. It has dimmed at times, obscured by clouds of confusion, or buried beneath layers of protection, but it has never gone out. It cannot go out because it is your essence, the truest part of who you are. This light is not metaphorical. It is as real as your heartbeat, though less easily measured. Ancient traditions called it by many names: the divine spark, the inner flame, the Buddha nature, the Christ consciousness, the Atman. Modern seekers speak of authentic self, higher consciousness, or inner wisdom. The words differ, but they point to the same reality. Within you exists a source of knowing, power, and love that is connected to the infinite. You may not feel this light right now. You may have spent so long disconnected from it that you doubt its existence. This is understandable. Our culture trains us to look outward for answers, for validation, for purpose. We are taught to trust authorities, experts, and external systems more than our own inner guidance. We learn to override our intuition, to silence the whispers of our soul in favor of louder, more insistent voices, telling us what we should do, who we should be, what we should want. But the light persists. It waits patiently for you to remember it, to turn your attention inward, to recognize what has always been there. Think of a moment when you felt truly aligned, when everything flowed effortlessly, when you knew exactly what to do without needing to think about it. Perhaps it was in a conversation where the perfect words emerged, in a creative endeavor where ideas poured through you, or in a crisis when you accessed unexpected strength and clarity. In those moments, you were connected to your inner light. You were allowing it to guide you, to flow through you, to express itself as you. This light is your compass in a world of confusion. It is the part of you that knows your truth even when your mind is tangled in doubt. It is the wisdom that exists before thought, the clarity that emerges in stillness, the love that remains when all else falls away. Your inner light has qualities that are universally recognized. It is peaceful, even in the midst of chaos. It is loving, even toward what the mind judges as unlovable. It is creative, finding solutions where the rational mind sees only problems. It is courageous, willing to take action, aligned with truth, even when fear is present. It is joyful, finding beauty and wonder in the simplest experiences. These are not qualities you must develop or achieve. They are not rewards for spiritual practice or badges of enlightenment. They are your natural state, the way you express when you're not caught in the trance of ego, fear, and conditioning. The journey of transformation is not about becoming someone new or better. It is about removing the obstacles that block the light you already are. It is about clearing away the debris, the limiting beliefs, the protective armor, the false identities, so that your true nature can shine through. Imagine a lamp covered with layers of dust and grime. The bulb hasn't stopped working, it's simply been obscured. The light is still there, still burning, but it cannot illuminate the room fully. Transformation is the process of cleaning the lamp, removing what blocks the light, allowing its brilliance to emerge. This is not easy work. The layers that cover your light were placed there for reasons: to protect you from hurt, to help you fit in, to keep you safe in an uncertain world. Removing them can feel vulnerable, even dangerous. Your ego, the part of you that has managed and controlled your life, will resist this unveiling. It will tell you that you need its protection, that without its vigilance you'll be hurt, rejected, or destroyed. But here is what the ego doesn't understand. Your inner light is not fragile. It does not need protection. It is the most resilient, powerful force within you. What needs protection is not the light itself, but the illusion of a separate self that the ego maintains. When you connect with your inner light, you access a source of guidance that never misleads you. This is not the voice of should or must, not the demanding voice of perfectionism or the critical voice of judgment. This is the quiet knowing, the gentle nudge, the sense of rightness that arises when you're still enough to hear it. How do you distinguish this voice from all the others clamoring for your attention? The voice of your inner light never criticizes or condemns. It never creates fear or anxiety about the future. It never dwells on regrets about the past. It speaks in the present moment with clarity, compassion, and wisdom. It feels like truth in your body, a sense of alignment, of yes, of recognition. Learning to hear this voice, to trust it, to follow it, even when it contradicts what others expect or what you've always done, this is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. This is what it means to live authentically, to be guided from within rather than driven from without. Your inner light is also your connection to something larger than yourself. It is the point where your individual consciousness touches the universal consciousness, where the drop recognizes itself as part of the ocean. When you connect with this light, you tap into wisdom that transcends your personal experience, love that extends beyond your personal preferences, and creativity that flows from the infinite source. This is why moments of deep connection with your inner light often feel transcendent. Time seems to stop. The boundary between self and other becomes permeable. You experience a sense of oneness, of belonging, of being held by something vast and benevolent. These are not mystical experiences reserved for saints and monks. They are natural states available to anyone who turns their attention inward with sincerity and patience. There are practices that help you reconnect with your inner light. Meditation is one, creating space for stillness where the noise of the mind can settle and the subtle wisdom can emerge. Time in nature is another, stepping away from human-made environments into the presence of trees, water, mountains, sky, where your light naturally resonates with the light in all things. Creative expression is a third, allowing something to move through you without judgment or agenda, whether through art, music, writing, dance, or any form that gives your inner light a channel for expression. But perhaps the most powerful practice is simply remembering. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, am I connected to my light right now? Am I acting from my truth, or am I operating on autopilot? Am I listening to my inner wisdom, or am I drowning it out with distraction and busyness? These moments of remembering are like touching home base. They orient you, recalibrate you, bring you back to what matters most. They don't require special circumstances or large blocks of time. They can happen in a breath, in the space between one moment and the next. Your inner light is not separate from your daily life. It doesn't only exist in meditation or on mountaintops. It is present in every interaction, every decision, every challenge you face. When you're connected to it, ordinary moments become sacred. Washing dishes becomes a meditation. A difficult conversation becomes an opportunity for authentic connection. A setback becomes a redirection towards something better aligned with your truth. This light wants to express itself through you. It wants to create, to love, to serve, to play, to explore. It wants to live fully, to experience the richness of being human while simultaneously remembering its divine nature. It doesn't want to transcend life, but to embrace it completely, to bring consciousness to every corner of experience. You are not here to hide your light. You are not here to dim yourself, to make others comfortable, or to play small, because you've been taught that humility means self-diminishment. True humility is recognizing that the light within you is not yours alone. It is the same light that exists in every being, the universal consciousness expressing itself as you. When you let your light shine, you give others permission to do the same. When you live from your truth, you inspire others to seek theirs. When you trust your inner wisdom, you demonstrate that such trust is possible. Your transformation becomes an invitation for others to transform. The light within you is ancient and eternal. It existed before you were born and will continue after this body falls away. It is your connection to the infinite, your link to the source of all creation, your remembrance of who you truly are beneath all the layers of identity and story. This chapter is a reminder of what you've always known but may have forgotten. You are not merely a physical being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are not a body with a soul. You are a soul with a body, and the light of that soul is the most powerful force in your life. Stop searching outside yourself for what can only be found within. Stop waiting for permission to shine from those who may never grant it. Stop believing that you need to be fixed or healed or improved before you can access your power. You are already whole. You are already luminous. You are already everything you need to be. The light within you is waiting to be recognized, to be honored, to be allowed to guide your life. It has been patient. It has never judged you for the times you forgot about it or doubted its existence. It simply waits, constant and loving, for you to turn toward it once again. Turn toward it now. Feel it in the center of your chest, in the quiet space behind your thoughts, in the stillness that exists beneath all the noise of your mind. It is there. It has always been there. It is you. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome home to the light you are. Chapter 4. Acknowledge the shadow. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. You cannot transform what you will not acknowledge. There is another side to your light, and it is time to meet it without fear. This is your shadow, not darkness in the sense of evil, but the parts of yourself you have hidden, rejected, or banished from your conscious awareness. These are the qualities you've deemed unacceptable, the emotions you've learned to suppress, the desires you've been taught to shame. The shadow is not your enemy. It is not something to be destroyed or transcended. It is an integral part of your wholeness, and until you acknowledge it, you will remain fragmented, spending tremendous energy maintaining the illusion of being only light, only good, only acceptable. Think about the energy required to hold back tears when you're sad, to suppress anger when you've been wronged, to deny desire when it arises, to project an image of perfection when you feel chaotic inside. This constant vigilance is exhausting. It drains the vitality that could be used for creation, for joy, for authentic connection. Your shadow was created through a lifetime of messages about what is acceptable and what is not. As a child, you expressed yourself freely until you were told, directly or indirectly, that certain expressions were wrong. Perhaps you were told that boys don't cry or girls don't get angry. Perhaps your exuberance was labeled as too much, your sadness as weakness, your anger as bad. Perhaps you learned that to be loved, you had to be nice, agreeable, compliant. So you began to split yourself. The parts that were praised and rewarded remained in the light of your conscious awareness. The parts that were punished or rejected were pushed into shadow. But they didn't disappear. They simply went underground, operating outside your conscious control, influencing your behavior in ways you don't recognize. The shadow manifests in many ways. It appears in your sudden, inexplicable reactions, the burst of rage that seems disproportionate to the trigger, the collapse into despair over a small setback, the overwhelming anxiety in situations that shouldn't be threatening. These reactions often puzzle you because they don't match the situation. That's because they're not really about the current situation. They're about the accumulated, unacknowledged experiences stored in your shadow. The shadow also appears in projection. The qualities you most despise in others are often the qualities you've rejected in yourself. The person who criticizes judgmental people is often blind to their own judgment. The one who rails against selfishness may be unable to acknowledge their own needs. The one who fears weakness in others may be terrified of their own vulnerability. Carl Jung, who gave us the concept of the shadow, said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your unacknowledged shadow doesn't just influence your reactions, it shapes your choices, your relationships, your entire life trajectory. It keeps you repeating patterns you consciously want to break. It sabotages the very things you claim to want most. Consider the person who says they want love but consistently chooses unavailable partners. Often the shadow holds beliefs about unworthiness or fears about intimacy that undermine conscious desires. Or the person who wants success but procrastinates and self-sabotages. The shadow may hold beliefs that success is dangerous, that it will lead to rejection by family or friends who will resent their achievement. Acknowledging your shadow is an act of courage. It requires you to look at the parts of yourself you've spent years trying to hide or deny. It asks you to feel the emotions you've worked so hard to avoid. It invites you to admit to desires and qualities that contradict your preferred self-image. But here is the gift hidden in this difficult work. When you acknowledge your shadow, you reclaim tremendous power and energy. The parts of yourself you've been fighting against can become allies. The emotions you've been suppressing can become sources of wisdom. The qualities you've rejected can become strengths. Anger, when acknowledged and channeled appropriately, becomes powerful life force energy, the fuel for necessary boundaries and righteous action against injustice. Sadness, when felt fully, becomes the doorway to compassion and depth. Fear, when recognized, becomes valuable information about what matters to you and what needs attention. Even qualities like selfishness, when examined honestly, often reveal legitimate needs that have been ignored for too long. The shadow work is not about indulging every impulse or acting out every suppressed emotion. It's about bringing conscious awareness to what has been unconscious. It's about creating relationship with these parts of yourself, understanding them, integrating them, rather than being controlled by them from the darkness. How do you begin this work? Start with curiosity rather than judgment. When you have a strong emotional reaction, instead of immediately justifying it or pushing it away, pause and ask, what is this really about? What part of me is activated right now? What might this be showing me about something I haven't acknowledged? Notice your projections. When you find yourself having a strong negative reaction to someone, ask, what quality am I seeing in them that I refuse to see in myself? How might I possess this quality in a form I don't recognize? This doesn't mean the other person isn't actually exhibiting the behavior. It means your intensity of reaction indicates something beyond the situation itself. Create space for the disowned parts of yourself. If you've always prided yourself on being rational and composed, what happens when you allow yourself to feel deeply, to be messy, to lose control? If you've always been the caretaker, what happens when you acknowledge your own needs? If you've always been nice, what happens when you let yourself feel and express anger? This exploration requires a container of safety. You may want to work with a therapist, counselor, or trusted guide as you navigate shadow territory. You may use journaling to give voice to parts of yourself that have been silenced. You may engage in creative expression that allows the shadow to speak through art, movement, or music. One powerful practice is dialogue with your shadow. In meditation or journaling, you can invite a disowned part of yourself to come forward. Ask it, why are you here? What do you need? What are you trying to protect me from? What gift do you bring? Listen without judgment. You may be surprised by what emerges. Understanding your shadow also helps you understand your defenses. Every defense mechanism you've developed, denial, projection, rationalization, dissociation, was created to protect you from having to face shadow material. These defenses served you once, perhaps when you were too young or too vulnerable to process difficult experiences, but now they may be barriers to your growth. As you acknowledge your shadow, you'll notice something profound. You become more whole. You stop exhausting yourself trying to maintain an artificial image. You become more authentic because you're no longer hiding. You become more compassionate toward others because you've extended compassion toward all parts of yourself. The shadow also holds your gold, the positive qualities you rejected because they threatened your safety or belonging. Perhaps you've hidden your intelligence because you learned it threatened others. Perhaps you've suppressed your beauty because it drew unwanted attention. Perhaps you've denied your power because it conflicted with others' need for you to be small. Reclaiming these golden shadows is as important as integrating the dark ones. When you allow yourself to be smart, beautiful, powerful, talented, or any other positive quality you've denied, you step into fuller expression of who you are. The journey of shadow work is ongoing. There is no final moment when you've integrated everything and can check this task off your list. New layers emerge as you're ready for them. Situations in life will continue to trigger unconscious material, inviting you to bring it into the light of awareness. But with each acknowledgement, each integration, you become more free. You spend less energy on maintaining defenses and more on living fully. You react less from unconscious patterns and respond more from conscious choice. You move from being controlled by your shadow to dancing with it, learning from it, and allowing it to enrich rather than undermine your life. Your shadow is not the opposite of your light. It is the other side of your wholeness. Like the moon, you have both lit and dark phases, and both are necessary, both are natural, both are you. To be truly illuminated, you must be willing to explore your darkness. To access your full power, you must reclaim the parts you've disowned. To become whole, you must embrace all of who you are, not just the parts that have been deemed acceptable, but everything that makes you fully, completely, gloriously human. This is the path of integration. This is the way of wholeness. This is how you stop being at war with yourself and become, instead, a unified force of consciousness, light and shadow, working together in service of your transformation. Acknowledge your shadow today. Invite it into dialogue, thank it for protecting you, and begin the sacred work of bringing all parts of yourself into the light of awareness. This is not the easy path, but it is the true path. This is not comfortable, but it is necessary. You are ready for this. You have always been ready. The shadow has been waiting patiently for your acknowledgement, for your compassion, for your willingness to see it not as an enemy, but as a lost part of yourself, seeking to come home. Welcome it home. Welcome all of yourself home. Chapter 5. The first step of activation. You have reached a pivotal moment in your journey. You've awakened to the power of the present moment. You've begun to see through the illusions that have limited you. You've recognized the light within you. You've acknowledged your shadow. Now comes the most crucial part of this transformation. Action. All the awareness in the world means nothing without activation. You can understand transformation intellectually. You can feel inspired by its possibility. You can even believe deeply in your potential. But until you take action, nothing actually changes. The gap between knowing and doing is where most journeys of transformation stall and ultimately fail. This is where many people stop. They gather information, attend workshops, read books, listen to audiobooks like this one, and accumulate vast amounts of knowledge about change. But they never actually change because they never cross the bridge from understanding to embodiment, from inspiration to implementation. Why is this bridge so difficult to cross? Because action requires you to leave the safety of the known. It demands that you step into uncertainty with no guarantee of success. It asks you to risk failure, judgment, and discomfort. It requires you to move from the realm of potential, where anything is possible, into the realm of manifestation, where you must deal with actual constraints, challenges, and consequences. Your ego resists this crossing. It prefers the safety of thinking about change to the risk of actually changing. It would rather you stay in planning mode indefinitely, preparing for some future moment when conditions will be perfect, when you'll feel ready, when success is guaranteed. But that moment never comes because perfect conditions don't exist. The truth is this: you will never feel completely ready. There will always be reasons to wait, to prepare more, to learn more, to think more. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Readiness is not something you achieve before you begin. It's something you develop through beginning. So what is the first step? It must be small, not because small steps are inferior to large ones, but because small steps are actually taken while large steps remain theoretical. A small step is specific, concrete, and achievable within your current capacity. It creates momentum rather than overwhelm. It proves to yourself that change is possible. Your first step must be aligned with your insight. It should emerge organically from what you've discovered in the previous chapters. What did you learn about yourself that calls for action? Where did you feel the stirring of truth, the recognition of something that needs to change? Perhaps you realized that you've been living on autopilot, disconnected from the present moment. Your first step might be to establish a daily practice of conscious breathing for just 3 minutes each morning. Perhaps you recognized an illusion you've been living under, a limiting belief about your capabilities. Your first step might be to take one action this week that contradicts that belief, something small but symbolic. Maybe you connected with your inner light and felt called to express it more fully. Your first step could be to engage in a creative activity you've been avoiding, or to speak your truth in one conversation where you usually stay silent. Or perhaps acknowledging your shadow revealed a pattern you're ready to shift. Your first step might be to notice the pattern once this week and choose a different response, even if it feels awkward or uncomfortable. The key is specificity. I'm going to be more present is not a first step. It's a vague intention. I will pause 3 times today, take 3 conscious breaths, and notice my surroundings is a first step. I'm going to love myself more is not a first step. I will speak to myself with the same kindness I would show a dear friend when I make a mistake is a first step. Your first step should be something you can do today, not next week when things calm down, not next month when you have more time. Today, this very day that you're listening to these words, because today is all you ever have, and transformation that is always postponed to tomorrow never actually happens. Here's what makes a good first step. It should be easy enough that you'll actually do it, but meaningful enough that it matters. It should require you to stretch slightly beyond your comfort zone without overwhelming you. It should be measurable so you know whether you've taken it or not. And it should connect to the larger vision of who you're becoming. Think of your first step as a seed. It may seem small, insignificant even, but within it contains the entire tree of your transformation. A tiny seed doesn't look like much, but given the right conditions, soil, water, sunlight, time, it becomes something magnificent. Your first step is that seed, but unlike a seed in nature, your first step requires conscious, intentional action. The seed must be deliberately planted, not just admired or saved for later. And here is where commitment becomes essential. You must decide in this moment that you will take this step, not hope to take it, not try to take it, but will take it. Commitment is different from preference or wish. It's a line in the sand, a choice that closes off other options. When you commit to your first step, you're saying, no matter what resistance arises, no matter what distractions appear, no matter how I feel in the moment, I will do this. This commitment needs to be realistic. Don't commit to meditating for an hour daily if you've never meditated before. Commit to 3 minutes. Don't commit to completely overhauling your diet tomorrow. Commit to adding 1 nourishing food to your day. Don't commit to having difficult conversations with everyone in your life. Commit to speaking 1 truth you usually hide in 1 conversation this week. Success with small commitments builds the muscle of integrity with yourself. Each time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen your self-trust. Each time you follow through despite resistance, you prove to yourself that you are capable of change. This self-trust is the foundation upon which all future transformation is built. Conversely, repeatedly failing to follow through on commitments, even small ones, erodes self-trust. Your subconscious learns that your intentions don't mean much, that you say one thing and do another, that your declarations of change are just noise. This is why it's better to commit to something small you'll actually do than something large you probably won't. As you take your first step, you'll encounter resistance. This is guaranteed. Your ego, your conditioning, your habits, all will conspire to keep you in familiar territory. You'll suddenly remember urgent tasks that need attention. You'll feel tired or unmotivated. You'll have compelling reasons why today isn't the right day after all. Expect this resistance and don't let it surprise or discourage you. Resistance is not a sign that you shouldn't take the step. It's a sign that the step matters. You don't feel resistance about things that don't threaten the status quo. The presence of resistance actually confirms you're moving in a meaningful direction. When resistance arises, acknowledge it. I see you, resistance. I understand you're trying to keep me safe in the familiar. Thank you for your concern, and I'm taking this step anyway. Then take the step. Don't wait for the resistance to disappear. Don't try to talk yourself into feeling motivated. Simply act regardless of how you feel. This is what discipline truly means, not forcing yourself to do things you hate through sheer willpower, but taking action aligned with your deepest values even when it's uncomfortable. Discipline is self-love extended into the future, caring enough about who you're becoming to do what serves that vision, even when your current self would prefer comfort. After you take your first step, pause and acknowledge what you've done. This is important. Too often we rush immediately to the next thing without recognizing our progress. Take a moment to feel the satisfaction of having taken action. Notice any shift in your energy, your confidence, or your sense of possibility. Thank yourself for having the courage to begin. Then, and this is crucial, plan your next step. Don't wait until the momentum fades. While you're still connected to the energy of action, decide what comes next. It might be repeating the same step tomorrow, building a habit. It might be taking a slightly larger step in the same direction. Or it might be addressing a different aspect of your transformation. The key is to maintain momentum. Transformation happens through consistent action over time, not through dramatic one-time efforts. It's better to take a small step every day for a month than to take one giant leap and then nothing. Think of it as compound interest for personal growth. Small, regular investments accumulate into significant returns. As you continue taking steps, you'll begin to notice changes. Some will be external, different choices, new behaviors, altered circumstances. But the most profound changes will be internal. You'll start to see yourself differently. You'll trust yourself more. You'll feel more empowered, more authentic, more alive. You'll also discover something paradoxical. The steps get easier and harder simultaneously. Easier because you're building capacity, momentum, and self-trust. Harder because as you grow, you're called to take bigger steps, to release deeper patterns, to risk more. This is natural and healthy. Transformation is not a linear path from point A to point B. It's a spiral journey where you return to similar themes at deeper levels. Each revolution of the spiral requires new actions, new commitments, new courage. But you don't need to worry about the entire journey right now. You don't need to figure out all the steps between where you are and where you want to be. You only need to take the first step. Then the next step will reveal itself. Then the next. This is how paths are made, one step at a time, with each step illuminating the next. Right now, in this moment, you stand at a threshold. Behind you lies everything you've been, all your old patterns, beliefs, and ways of being. Before you lies the person you're becoming, the life you're creating, the transformation you're activating. The threshold between these two realities is crossed not through dramatic declaration, but through simple action. So I ask you now, what is your first step? What is the one small, specific, concrete action you will take today to activate the transformation you've begun? Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. Just choose something real, something doable, something that matters. Write it down if you can. Speak it aloud. Make it real by articulating it clearly. Then, before the day ends, take that step. Do the thing. Make the choice. Take the action. This is how everything changes. This is how you move from being a person who thinks about transformation to a person who lives it. This is how potential becomes reality, how inspiration becomes manifestation, how the light within you becomes the light you shine into the world. You have done the inner work of these first chapters. You have awakened. You have seen through illusions. You have recognized your light and acknowledged your shadow. Now it's time to bring this inner transformation into outer expression. Take your first step, not tomorrow, not when you're ready, now, today, this moment. Your transformation awaits not in some distant future, but in this present moment, in this choice, in this action. Everything you've learned, everything you've felt, everything you've realized, it all comes down to this. Will you take the step? You know the answer. Deep down, beneath all the doubt and fear and hesitation, you know. You wouldn't have journeyed this far if you weren't ready to begin. So, begin. Take your first step. Activate your light. Start living the transformation you've awakened to. The rest of your life starts now. What will your first step be? Chapter 6. The frequency of your true self. There's a hum beneath everything, a vibration so subtle that most people never notice it, yet so profound that it shapes every moment of their existence. This is your frequency, the energetic signature of who you truly are. Think about music for a moment. When an instrument is perfectly tuned, every note it produces resonates with clarity and beauty. But when it's even slightly out of tune, something feels off. The dissonance is uncomfortable, creating tension rather than harmony. Your life works the same way. You are an energetic being living in an energetic universe. Everything, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body, even the chair you're sitting in, is energy vibrating at different frequencies. And just like that instrument, when you're aligned with the frequency of your true self, life flows with an ease and grace that feels almost magical. But when you're out of alignment, everything becomes struggle. Most of us have been living out of tune for so long that we've forgotten what harmony feels like. We've learned to adapt to the dissonance, to accept it as normal. We wake up tired, push through days that drain us, surround ourselves with people and situations that leave us feeling depleted and wonder why life feels so heavy. But here's what you need to understand. That heaviness isn't your natural state. It's a sign that you're vibrating at a frequency that doesn't match who you truly are. Your true frequency, the vibration of your highest self, is one of lightness, of joy, of creative power. It's the feeling you get when you're doing something you love so much that time disappears. It's the energy you feel when you're with someone who truly sees you. It's the expansion in your chest when you witness something beautiful or accomplish something meaningful. That feeling is your compass. It's showing you what alignment feels like. The challenge is that we've been conditioned to ignore this compass. We've been taught to override our internal guidance system with external rules about how we should think, feel, and behave. We've learned to dismiss our intuition, to rationalize away our discomfort, to numb ourselves when the dissonance becomes too loud. But your body always knows. Your energy always knows. When you're in a situation that's not aligned with your true frequency, you feel it. That knot in your stomach, that tension in your shoulders, that sudden exhaustion that seems to come from nowhere. These aren't random physical sensations. They're your energy field communicating with you, telling you that something is out of alignment. The beautiful truth is that you can recalibrate. You can tune yourself back to your true frequency at any moment. It starts with awareness. Begin to notice how different thoughts make you feel, not just mentally, but energetically. When you think about your future with fear, notice how your energy contracts, how your body tenses, how your vibration lowers. When you think about that same future with excitement and possibility, notice how your energy expands, how your body relaxes, how your vibration rises. Your thoughts are not neutral. Every thought you think carries a frequency, and that frequency ripples through your entire being. Think a thought of limitation, and you'll feel yourself becoming smaller. Think a thought of possibility, and you'll feel yourself expanding. But thoughts are just the beginning. Your emotions are even more powerful transmitters of frequency. Emotions are energy in motion, literally emotion. When you feel joy, you're broadcasting a high-frequency signal. When you feel gratitude, you're elevating your vibration. When you feel love, real, unconditional love, you're operating at the highest frequency available to human consciousness. This isn't metaphysical fantasy. This is measurable, observable reality. Studies have shown that our hearts generate electromagnetic fields that extend several feet beyond our bodies. When we feel positive emotions, these fields become more coherent, more organized. We literally radiate a different energy into the world around us. And here's where it gets really interesting. Your frequency doesn't just affect you, it affects everything and everyone around you. You've experienced this before, even if you didn't realize what was happening. You walk into a room where people have been arguing, and even though they're silent now, you can feel the tension. Or you meet someone who radiates such warmth and positivity that you feel better just being near them. You're picking up on their frequency. The same is true in reverse. Your frequency is constantly influencing your environment. When you raise your vibration, you don't just change how you feel. You change what you attract, who shows up in your life, what opportunities become available to you. This is the real secret behind manifestation. It's not about wishful thinking or vision boards. It's about becoming a vibrational match for what you desire. So how do you align with the frequency of your true self? How do you stay tuned to that perfect pitch? First, protect your energy. Be conscious of what you allow into your field. The news you consume, the conversations you participate in, the people you spend time with, the environments you inhabit, all of these either raise or lower your frequency. This isn't about being isolated or avoiding reality. It's about being intentional. You wouldn't drink poison just because someone offered it to you. Why would you consume toxic energy? Second, cultivate practices that raise your vibration. Move your body in ways that feel good. Spend time in nature. Create something. Listen to music that makes your soul sing. Meditate, laugh. These aren't luxuries or self-indulgent treats. They're essential maintenance for your energetic system. Third, align your actions with your truth. Every time you do something that feels wrong for you, whether it's staying in a conversation that drains you, saying yes when you mean no, or pursuing a goal that isn't truly yours, you create dissonance in your field. Every time you honor your authentic self, speaking your truth, setting a boundary, making a choice that reflects your values, you strengthen your alignment. Your true frequency is already within you. You don't need to create it or earn it. You just need to remember it, to tune yourself back to it, to let it guide you forward. When you do, everything changes, not because the world changes, but because you're finally vibrating at the level of your highest potential. And at that frequency, miracles become ordinary. Chapter 7, Releasing Limiting Beliefs. There's a story you've been telling yourself. Actually, there are hundreds of them, thousands probably. These stories run quietly in the background of your mind, so familiar that you don't even recognize them as stories anymore. You think they're facts. You think they're reality. You think they're just the way things are, but they're not. They're beliefs. And the vast majority of them are holding you back from becoming who you're meant to be. Let me tell you how this works. When you were young, your mind was like wet cement, impressionable, malleable, ready to take the shape of whatever experiences came your way. And you absorbed everything. Every comment from a parent, every interaction with a teacher, every rejection from a peer, every failure, every success, every moment of praise or criticism, all of it left an imprint. Your brilliant mind took all of those experiences and created beliefs about yourself, about other people, about how the world works. It did this to protect you, to help you navigate a complex world. If I'm quiet, I stay safe. If I'm perfect, I'll be loved. If I try too hard, I'll be disappointed. If I trust people, they'll hurt me. These beliefs became your operating system. They shaped how you saw yourself and what you believed was possible for you. And for years, maybe decades, You've been living your life based on programming that was installed before you even knew it was happening. Here's the problem. Those beliefs were formed by a child's understanding of the world. They were created in response to specific circumstances that no longer exist. They were designed to keep a vulnerable young person safe, but that young person isn't who you are anymore. Yet the beliefs remain, and they're running your life. I'm not good enough. I'm too much. I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy of love. I can't trust myself. I don't deserve success. I'm not creative. I'm bad with money. People always leave me. I'm not the kind of person who... These beliefs feel true because you've spent years collecting evidence to support them. Your mind is masterful at this. It filters reality to confirm what you already believe. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll notice every criticism and ignore every compliment. If you believe people always leave, you'll unconsciously push them away or choose people who are unavailable. If you believe you're bad with money, you'll make decisions that keep you stuck in that pattern. This is called confirmation bias, and it's how your beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. But here's what you need to understand. Just because a belief has been with you for a long time doesn't make it true. Just because you can find evidence to support it doesn't make it reality. Just because it feels like a fundamental part of who you are doesn't mean you have to keep it. Beliefs are not facts. They're interpretations. They're stories, and stories can be rewritten. The first step in releasing limiting beliefs is recognizing them. Most of our beliefs operate below the level of conscious awareness. They're so automatic that we don't even notice we're thinking them. So we need to bring them into the light. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. What do you tell yourself when you look in the mirror? What thoughts arise when you consider taking a risk? What do you say to yourself when you make a mistake? What assumptions do you make about what other people think of you? Write them down. Don't censor yourself. Don't try to make them sound reasonable or justified. Just let them flow onto the page. I'm not interesting. I always mess things up. I'm too old to start over. I'm not attractive enough. I don't have what it takes. Now, here's the crucial part. Once you've identified a limiting belief, you need to question it, not gently, not politely, ruthlessly. Is this belief absolutely true? Not, does it feel true? But is it objectively, verifiably true in all circumstances? Have there been times when the opposite was true? What evidence contradicts this belief? If your best friend said this about themselves, would you agree with them or challenge them? Byron Katie has a powerful framework for this. Is it true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? How do you react when you believe that thought? Who would you be without it? Let's try it. Let's say your belief is, I'm not good enough. Is it true? Maybe it feels true in certain situations, but is it an absolute truth? Can you absolutely know that you're not good enough? Good enough for what? According to whose standards? Have there been times when you were good enough? Times when you excelled? Times when people appreciated you? How do you react when you believe you're not good enough? You play small, you don't try, you settle, you accept less than you deserve. You exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth. You feel anxious, inadequate, like an imposter. Who would you be without that thought? Imagine for a moment that you couldn't think the thought, I'm not good enough. Not because you're trying to think positively, but because it simply wasn't available to you. Who would you be? What would you do? How would you show up? What risks would you take? Can you feel the difference? That's the space of possibility that opens up when you release a limiting belief. But questioning beliefs isn't enough. You need to replace them. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you simply try to stop believing something, your mind will keep returning to the familiar pattern. You need to give it something new to focus on. This is where you get to choose. You get to consciously select beliefs that serve your highest good. Not affirmations that feel fake, but beliefs that feel true at a deeper level. Instead of "I'm not good enough," try "I'm constantly growing and learning." Instead of "I can't trust people," try "I'm learning to discern who is trustworthy." Instead of "I always fail," try "Every experience teaches me something valuable." These new beliefs need to be reinforced. Your old beliefs have decades of repetition behind them. Your new beliefs need practice, so you repeat them. You look for evidence to support them. You act as if they're already true. And here's something powerful you can do. Visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself releasing the old belief. See it as a physical object, maybe a heavy stone or a chain or a dark cloud. Feel its weight. Acknowledge what it's cost you. Thank it for trying to protect you, even though it's no longer needed. Then visualize yourself releasing it. Watch it dissolve or float away or sink into the earth. Feel the lightness in your body as it goes. Now visualize your new belief taking root. See it as light, as energy, as something alive and growing within you. Imagine yourself living from this new belief. What do you do differently? How do you carry yourself? What becomes possible? This isn't just imagination. Neuroscience shows that your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you visualize yourself embodying a new belief, you're actually creating new neural pathways, making it easier for that belief to become your new default. Releasing limiting beliefs is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. Some beliefs will release easily, almost with relief. Others will cling tenaciously, resurfacing when you're stressed or triggered. That's okay. This is deep work and it deserves your patience. But every belief you release frees up enormous amounts of energy. Energy that was being used to maintain the old story, to defend it, to prove it, to live in accordance with it. When that belief dissolves, that energy becomes available for your transformation. You are not your beliefs. You are the consciousness that can observe them, question them, and choose new ones. And with each limiting belief you release, you step closer to the truth of who you really are, unlimited, capable, and free. Chapter 8. Transformative Practices. Here's what most people don't understand about transformation. It's not a destination. It's not something you achieve and then move on from. Transformation is a practice, a way of being, a series of conscious choices made day after day after day. The insights are beautiful. The realizations are powerful. The moments of breakthrough change everything. But it's what you do in the ordinary moments. The moments when you're tired, when nothing dramatic is happening, when life is just life. That determines whether this transformation becomes real or remains a fleeting experience. You need practices, not rigid rules or punishing, routines, but sustainable, intentional practices that keep you aligned with your truth and connected to your highest self. Think of them as the daily tending of your inner garden. You can't plant seeds and then ignore them for months and expect a harvest. You have to water them, remove the weeds, protect them from harsh conditions. Your transformation requires the same attention. Let's start with mindfulness, because everything else builds on this foundation. Mindfulness is simply the practice of being present, fully present with what is. Not what was, not what might be, but what actually is right now, this moment, this breath, this sensation in your body, this thought moving through your mind. We spend most of our lives either replaying the past or rehearsing the future. We're rarely actually here, and when we're not present, we're on autopilot. The old programming runs the show. The limiting beliefs direct our actions. The unconscious patterns repeat themselves. But in the present moment, there's space. Space to notice, space to choose, space to respond differently. Start simple. Set a timer for 2 minutes 3 times a day. When it goes off, stop whatever you're doing and just breathe. Notice your breath moving in and out. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice the sounds around you. Notice your thoughts without following them. That's it. 2 minutes of presence 3 times a day. This seems too simple to matter, but it's precisely its simplicity that makes it powerful. You're training your mind to come back to the present moment. You're creating small islands of awareness throughout your day. Over time, these islands expand. You find yourself naturally more present, more aware, more able to catch yourself before you fall into old patterns. Next, let's talk about gratitude because it's one of the fastest ways to shift your frequency and rewire your brain. Gratitude isn't just being thankful when something good happens. Real gratitude is a practice of actively looking for what's working, what's beautiful, what's worthy of appreciation, even in difficult times, especially in difficult times. Your brain has a negativity bias. It's wired to scan for threats, for problems, for what's wrong. This kept your ancestors alive, but in modern life, it keeps you focused on lack, on what's missing, on what could go wrong. Gratitude practice counters this. It trains your brain to notice abundance, to recognize gifts, to see possibilities. Every evening before you sleep, write down 3 things you're grateful for. But here's the key. Don't just list them. Feel them. Really feel the appreciation in your body. Let it warm your chest. Bring a smile to your face. The emotion is what makes gratitude transformative. And be specific, not just, I'm grateful for my family, but I'm grateful for the way my daughter laughed at breakfast this morning, that pure, uninhibited joy that reminded me what matters. Specific gratitude keeps you present and makes the practice fresh rather than rote. On particularly challenging days, find things to appreciate within the challenge itself. I'm grateful that this difficulty is showing me where I need to grow. I'm grateful for the strength I'm discovering in myself. I'm grateful that this experience is teaching me what I truly value. This isn't toxic positivity or denying your pain. It's choosing to mine even the hard experiences for their gifts. Now, visualization. You've already used this to release limiting beliefs, but it's also a powerful tool for creating your future. Your subconscious mind works in images, not words. When you repeatedly visualize yourself as the person you're becoming, doing the things you want to do, living the life you're creating, your subconscious begins to accept this as reality. And when your subconscious accepts something as real, it finds ways to make it happen. Set aside 10 minutes each day. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes and see yourself living your transformed life. Don't just watch it like a movie. Step into it. See through your own eyes. What do you see around you? What do you hear? What do you smell? How does your body feel? What emotions are present? Make it vivid. Make it detailed. Make it so real that your body responds as if it's actually happening. And here's the crucial part. Focus on the feeling of already being that person, already living that life. Not I will be, but I am. This isn't fantasy or escapism. This is programming. You're giving your subconscious mind a clear target and enlisting its vast creative power in bringing it to life. Let's talk about movement because transformation happens in the body, not just the mind. You don't need to become an athlete or force yourself into exercise you hate, but you do need to move. Your body is not separate from your consciousness. It's where your consciousness lives. When energy gets stuck in your body, it affects your thoughts, your emotions, your entire experience of life. Find movement that feels good to you. Dance in your living room, walk in nature, do yoga, stretch, swim, garden. The type matters less than the intention. Move with awareness. Feel your body. Notice where you hold tension and breathe into it. Let your movement be a practice of coming home to yourself. And don't underestimate the power of breath. Your breath is the bridge between your conscious and unconscious mind. When you're anxious, your breath is shallow and rapid. When you're calm, it's slow and deep. But here's the magic. You can use your breath to change your state. When you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or stuck in old patterns, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, out for 6. This simple practice activates your parasympathetic nervous system, telling your body that you're safe, that you can relax, that you can think clearly. Finally, create a daily ritual that anchors your transformation. This is your time, your sacred space where you connect with yourself and your purpose. It doesn't have to be long. Even 15 minutes makes a difference, but it needs to be consistent. Same time, same place if possible. This creates a container for your practice and signals to your psyche that this is important. Your ritual might include meditation, journaling, visualization, reading something inspiring, setting intentions for your day, or simply sitting in silence. Design it to meet your needs. Make it something you look forward to, not another obligation. The practices I'm sharing aren't meant to be added to an already overwhelming to-do list. Start with one. Master it. Let it become natural. Then add another. Build slowly and sustainably. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself again and again, even in small ways. Because here's the truth, transformation doesn't happen in the big moments. It happens in the accumulation of small choices. The choice to be present instead of distracted. The choice to find gratitude instead of complaint. The choice to visualize possibility instead of limitation. The choice to move your body instead of staying stuck. The choice to breathe consciously instead of reactively. These practices are how you make transformation real. They're how you take everything you're learning and integrate it into your actual life. They're how you become, day by day, the person you're meant to be. And the beautiful thing? The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. What once required conscious effort becomes automatic. What once felt like work becomes joy. The practices themselves become part of who you are, woven into the fabric of your daily life. This is how change lasts. This is how transformation becomes permanent. Not through one dramatic shift, but through countless small acts of alignment, repeated faithfully over time. Chapter 9. Trusting the process. You want to know when it's going to happen, when the breakthrough will come, when you'll finally feel different, when the transformation you're working so hard for will click into place. You're looking for signs, checking for progress, measuring yourself against where you think you should be. And when you don't see the results you expected, when the timeline doesn't match your hopes, doubt creeps in. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm the exception. Maybe transformation is possible for other people, but not for me. Let me tell you something that might frustrate you at first, but will ultimately free you. You cannot control the timeline of your transformation. You cannot force it, rush it, or manipulate it into happening on your schedule. Transformation has its own rhythm, its own season, its own perfect timing that has nothing to do with your preferences and everything to do with what's actually ready to shift. Think about a seed planted in soil. It sits in darkness, seemingly unchanged, while beneath the surface, invisible to the eye, complex processes are unfolding. Roots are growing, the hard shell is softening, cellular structures are reorganizing, and then, only when all of this underground work is complete, the sprout breaks through the soil. If you dug up the seed every few days to check on its progress, you would destroy the very process you're trying to encourage. If you tried to force the sprout to emerge before it was ready, you would damage or kill it. You are that seed. And right now, even if you can't see it, so much is happening beneath the surface. Every insight you have, every belief you question, every practice you engage in, all of it is doing work in the depths of your psyche. Old neural pathways are dissolving, new ones are forming. Your entire nervous system is recalibrating. Your energy field is reorganizing itself around a new frequency. This takes time. Not because the universe is withholding from you or because you're not ready, but because real, lasting transformation is complex. It involves not just your conscious mind, but your subconscious programming, your nervous system, your energetic field, your physical body. All of these systems need time to integrate change. And here's what makes this even more challenging. Transformation is rarely linear. You think it should be a steady upward climb, a little better each day, constant improvement, clear progress. But that's not how it actually works. Transformation is more like a spiral. You keep coming back to the same issues, the same patterns, the same challenges. Each time you return, you're at a different level, seeing from a different perspective, able to work at a deeper layer. But it can feel like you're going in circles. It can feel like you're back where you started. You're not. You're just visiting familiar territory with new eyes, doing deeper work than you could access before. There will be quantum leaps, those moments when everything suddenly makes sense, when something inside you shifts dramatically, when you wake up one day and realize you're thinking differently, feeling differently, being differently. These breakthroughs are real and they're powerful, but they're almost always followed by integration periods, times when nothing much seems to be happening, times when you might even feel like you've regressed. This is not failure, this is the natural rhythm of growth. The breakthrough creates new space within you, and that space needs to be filled, integrated, stabilized before the next expansion can occur. If you judge yourself during the integration periods, if you push yourself to always be up, to always be making visible progress, you'll exhaust yourself. You'll create resistance to the very process that's trying to unfold. What you need is trust. Deep, foundational trust that your transformation is happening exactly as it needs to, even when, especially when, you can't see the evidence. Trust doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for life to happen to you. You still take action. You still engage with your practices. You still make conscious choices. But you do all of this from a place of knowing that the outcome isn't entirely up to you, that there's a larger intelligence at work, that life itself is supporting your evolution. This is where surrender and action meet. You do what's yours to do with full commitment, and then you release attachment to when and how the results show up. Think about the people who irritate you the most. Have you noticed that they're often reflecting something you haven't fully accepted in yourself? Think about the obstacles that keep appearing in your path. Have you considered that they might be showing you where you still need to grow? Think about the timing of events in your life. Have you ever looked back and seen how something that seemed like terrible timing was actually perfect? Life is not random. You're not being punished when things don't happen on your schedule. You're being guided, refined, prepared for what's coming. But you can only see this in retrospect. In the moment, it requires trust. Here's a practice that can help. Instead of asking, "Why isn't this happening yet?" ask, "What am I learning right now?" Instead of focusing on what's missing, focus on what's present. Instead of measuring yourself against an imagined future, fully inhabit this moment of the journey. Because this moment, right here, right now, even if it feels stuck or slow or uncertain, this is part of your transformation. You're not waiting for your real life to begin. This is it. This is the process. And it's all sacred. When you find yourself getting impatient, come back to your breath. Come back to your body. Come back to now. Ask yourself, what if this exact moment is exactly what I need? What if the timing is perfect even though I can't see why? What if trusting the process is the very lesson I'm here to learn? You will have moments of doubt. That's part of the journey too. Doubt doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're human. When doubt arises, don't fight it. Don't pretend it's not there. Acknowledge it, thank it for trying to protect you, and then choose trust anyway. Trust isn't the absence of doubt. Trust is the choice to keep going despite the doubt. It's the decision to believe in your transformation even when you can't prove it yet. It's the faith that you are exactly where you need to be. And here's what happens when you truly trust the process. You relax. The desperate grasping releases. The constant monitoring stops. You stop making your worth contingent on your progress. You stop judging each day by how much you've changed. Instead, you settle into the journey itself. You find richness in the unfolding. You develop patience, not the gritted teeth, white-knuckled kind, but the peaceful, grounded kind that comes from deep knowing. And paradoxically, when you stop trying to force the transformation, when you stop obsessing over the timeline, when you truly surrender to the process, that's often when the breakthroughs come. Not because your surrender caused them, but because your surrender removed the resistance that was slowing them down. Your transformation is inevitable. It's already happening. The question isn't whether it will occur, but whether you'll let yourself enjoy the journey. Whether you'll beat yourself up for not being there yet, or appreciate how far you've already come. Whether you'll trust that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't. The seed doesn't worry about becoming a tree. It simply does what seeds do, trusting the process that's been working for millions of years. Can you offer yourself that same trust? Can you believe that you too are unfolding exactly as you should? The answer determines not whether you'll transform, that's already certain. The answer determines whether you'll suffer through your transformation or flow with it. Whether you'll fight every step or dance with the rhythm of your becoming. Trust the process, trust the timing, trust yourself. Everything you need is already within you, waiting for its perfect moment to emerge. Chapter 10, Surrender to the Flow. There's a paradox at the heart of transformation that trips up almost everyone. You need to take action, but you also need to let go. You need to have clear intentions, but you can't be attached to outcomes. You need to lead your life, but you also need to follow where it leads you. This is the dance of surrender and action, and learning it changes everything. Most people fall into one of two extremes. Either they try to control everything, planning, forcing, manipulating circumstances to match their vision, and end up exhausted, frustrated when life refuses to comply with their agenda. Or they become completely passive, waiting for signs, looking for permission, hoping that someone or something else will do the work for them, and end up stuck, their potential unrealized. Neither extreme works. What works is the flow. The flow is that state where you're actively engaged, but not controlling, where you're making choices but holding them lightly, where you have direction but you're also open to redirection, where you're doing your part while trusting that the universe is doing its part too. Think about a river. The water doesn't control where it goes. It doesn't grip the riverbank in fear or try to force its way upstream. But it's not passive either. It's constantly moving, finding the path of least resistance, flowing around obstacles, carving new channels when old ones are blocked. It has direction. It moves toward the ocean, but it surrenders to the terrain, working with reality rather than against it. You are that water. Your transformation is that river. And the question is, will you fight the current or flow with it? Here's what surrender actually means. It doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring or stop trying. It doesn't mean you become a doormat, accepting whatever life throws at you. True surrender means releasing your death grip on how things must unfold. It means loosening your attachment to specific outcomes, specific timelines, specific methods. It means staying committed to your vision while remaining flexible about the path. It means recognizing that you're not the only intelligence at work in your life. There's a larger force, call it the universe, source, life itself, whatever resonates with you, that's orchestrating circumstances in ways you can't see from your limited perspective. And when you try to control every detail, you block the very magic you're seeking. Think about the last time something didn't go the way you planned, but turned out better than you imagined. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted and ended up in a position that was perfect for you. Maybe a relationship ended and opened space for an even better one. Maybe a plan fell through and forced you onto a path you wouldn't have chosen but needed to walk. Those moments happened because you surrendered, not because you chose to, but because you had to. Life moved you beyond your control, and in retrospect, you could see it was for the best. What if you could access that wisdom without needing life to force your hand? What if you could surrender proactively, consciously, while still taking powerful action? This is where inspired action comes in. There are two types of action you can take. There's forced action, grinding, pushing, doing things because you think you should, operating from fear or lack, trying to make things happen through sheer will. And there's inspired action, flowing, creating, doing things because they feel right, operating from excitement and intuition, allowing things to happen through you. Forced action exhausts you. It often produces mediocre results because you're fighting against the flow. Inspired action energizes you. It produces extraordinary results because you're aligned with the flow. The difference is subtle but crucial. Forced action comes from the ego asking, "What do I need to do to get what I want?" Inspired action comes from a deeper place, asking, "What wants to happen through me? What's mine to do right now?" Here's how to recognize inspired action. It feels expansive, not contractive. It energizes you rather than depletes you. It comes with a sense of rightness, even if you can't logically explain why. It often feels easy, like you're being pulled forward rather than pushing yourself. And it frequently involves some element of trust. You're taking a step without being able to see the whole staircase. Surrender means learning to distinguish between these two types of action and choosing inspired action even when forced action seems more logical. It also means learning to recognize when to act and when to wait. Not all seasons are for planting. Some are for tending. Some are for harvesting. Some are for rest. If you try to plant in winter or rest in spring, you're out of sync with the natural rhythm. Your transformation has its own seasons too. There are times when you feel called to take bold action, to make changes, to speak up, to take risks. Trust those impulses. Act on them. These are your planting seasons. But there are also times when nothing feels clear, when you don't know what to do next, when every option feels wrong or forced. These aren't failures. These are the times to wait, to listen, to let the next right step reveal itself. These are your winter seasons when the work is happening underground, preparing you for spring. Surrender means trusting both the active times and the quiet times. It means not forcing action when you're in a season of integration. It means not staying passive when you're in a season of expansion. So how do you actually surrender? How do you maintain this balance of engaged non-attachment? Start each day with this intention. I am open to whatever wants to unfold today. I will take action where I feel called to act, and I will release my grip on the outcome. I trust that life is guiding me toward my highest good. Then, throughout your day, practice checking in with yourself before taking action. Ask, is this forced or inspired? Am I doing this from fear or from excitement? Does this feel expansive or contractive? You'll notice patterns. You'll start to feel the difference between pushing the river and flowing with it. And gradually, you'll make different choices. When things don't go as planned, and they won't regularly, practice responding with curiosity instead of resistance. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this showing me? What wants to emerge from this? What if this is actually perfect? This doesn't mean you don't feel disappointed or frustrated. Feel what you feel. But beneath the temporary emotion Can you find a deeper trust? Can you believe that even this is part of your unfolding? And here's something powerful. When you truly surrender, when you stop trying to control outcomes, you become magnetic. You stop repelling what you want through desperate grasping. You stop blocking your good through resistance and control. You create space for miracles, for synchronicities, for opportunities that you couldn't have planned or manufactured. People talk about manifesting as if it's about visualizing hard enough or wanting something badly enough. But real manifestation is about alignment. It's about getting yourself out of the way so that what wants to come through, you can come through you. It's about surrendering your agenda so you can receive what's actually meant for you, which is often bigger and better than what you had planned. This is the ultimate paradox of transformation. You become most powerful when you stop trying to control everything. You move fastest when you stop pushing. You receive most when you release your grip. Surrender and action aren't opposites. They're dance partners. You move forward with intention and purpose, but you hold your plans lightly. You commit fully to the journey, but you stay flexible about the destination. You do everything you can, and then you trust that's enough. This is the flow. This is the sweet spot where transformation accelerates, where life becomes easier, even as it becomes more amazing, where you feel simultaneously more in control and less controlling. Can you feel it? That sense of rightness when you stop fighting, that ease that comes when you align yourself with life's current instead of swimming against it. This is your invitation to stop carrying the weight of trying to control everything, to put down the exhausting burden of making everything happen through force, to trust that you are held, guided, supported by something far wiser and more powerful than your conscious mind. You are not alone in this transformation. You are not solely responsible for making it happen. Your job is to show up, to be present, to take inspired action, and to surrender the rest. Do that, and watch how life rushes in to meet you. Watch how doors open that you didn't even know existed. Watch how your path unfolds in ways more beautiful than anything you could have designed. Surrender to the flow, not because you're giving up, but because you're ready to receive something greater than you've been settling for. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to let go. The river knows where it's going, and so do you. It's time to stop fighting the current and let yourself be carried forward into the life that's waiting for you. Chapter 11. You are the creator. You've been taught a lie, a pervasive, limiting lie that keeps most people small their entire lives. The lie is this, that life happens to you, that you're a passenger in your own existence, subject to circumstances at the mercy of fate, reacting to whatever the world throws at you. You've been conditioned to see yourself as the effect, never the cause. Bad things happen, good things happen, and you're just trying to survive, to cope, to make the best of whatever hand you've been dealt. You wait for opportunities, you hope for change, you wish for better circumstances. But here's the truth that will shatter everything you thought you knew. You are not the recipient of your life. You are the creator of it. Every single aspect of your reality, your relationships, your career, your health, your finances, your experiences, has been created by you. Not because you consciously chose it all, but because you've been creating unconsciously through your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and most powerfully, through your state of being. This isn't metaphor. This isn't positive thinking wrapped in pretty language. This is how reality actually works. Quantum physics has shown us something extraordinary. The observer affects the observed. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of pure possibility until they're observed. The act of observation collapses the wave. Function, bringing one specific reality into being from an infinite field of potential. You are that observer, and your collapsing wave functions constantly in every moment, creating reality with your consciousness. But it goes deeper than that. You're not just observing, you're broadcasting. Your consciousness is a frequency, and that frequency is constantly transmitting a signal into the quantum field. That signal is composed of your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and emotional states, and the field responds by organizing itself to match your signal. This is why people who believe they're lucky tend to experience fortunate coincidences, why people who expect betrayal seem to attract untrustworthy people, why some people manifest opportunities seemingly out of nowhere while others struggle despite working just as hard. It's not random, it's not unfair, it's creation. For most of your life, you've been creating by default. Your subconscious programming, those beliefs installed in childhood, those wounds that shaped your worldview, those fears that have been running in the background, has been broadcasting the signal, and you've been getting results that match that signal, wondering why life keeps presenting you with the same patterns, the same challenges, the same disappointments. But now you know. Now you understand. And with understanding comes power. The power to create consciously instead of unconsciously. Here's how it works. Your thoughts are the blueprints. They set the direction, establish the parameters, define what you believe is possible. But thoughts alone aren't enough. You can think positive thoughts all day long, but if underneath those thoughts are beliefs that contradict them, nothing changes. This is why affirmations often fail. You're saying, "I am abundant," while your subconscious is screaming, "You're broke and you'll always be broke." Your emotions are the fuel. They're the power source that energizes your thoughts and broadcasts them into the field with strength. This is why you can't think your way into a new reality. You have to feel your way there. When you think about your desired reality and you feel the emotions of already living it, the joy, the gratitude, the excitement, the peace, you're creating a magnetic pull that draws that reality toward you. Your actions are the anchors. They're how you demonstrate to yourself and the universe that you're serious, that you're committed, that you're already the person living that reality. When your actions align with your desired reality, you're embodying it. You're no longer just visualizing or hoping, you're being, and your state of being is the master key. This is who you are at your core, the frequency you naturally emanate when you're not trying, not pretending, not forcing. This is the sum total of your beliefs about yourself and reality, and this is what creates most powerfully. You cannot create a reality that's fundamentally misaligned with your state of being. You can want it, work for it, visualize it all you want, but if who you are at your core doesn't match it, it won't stick. This is why lottery winners often end up broke again, why people who lose weight often gain it back, why success that comes too fast often disappears just as quickly. But when you shift your state of being, when you actually become the person who naturally lives the reality you desire, creation becomes effortless. You're not trying to attract anything. You're simply being yourself, and your reality reorganizes itself to match. So how do you become a conscious creator instead of an unconscious one? First, take radical responsibility. Stop blaming circumstances, other people, your past, your luck, the economy, or anything else for your current reality. This isn't about guilt or shame. It's about power. When you blame external factors, you give away your power to change things. When you accept that you created this, you claim the power to create something different. Yes, events happen. Yes, other people make choices that affect you. Yes, you were born into certain circumstances. But your response to all of that, the meaning you make of it, the beliefs you form, the actions you take, that's all you. And that's what creates your experience of reality. Second, get clear on what you actually want to create, not what you think you should want, not what would look impressive to others, not what would fix your problems or fill the void inside you. What do you actually want? What lights you up? What makes you feel alive? What would you create if you knew you couldn't fail? Be specific. Vague intentions produce vague results. Don't just want a better life. What does that actually look like? What are you doing? Who are you with? How do you feel? What's different? Paint the picture in vivid detail. Third, examine the beliefs that stand between you and what you want to create. What do you believe about your ability to create this? What do you believe about whether you deserve it? What do you believe about how hard it will be? These beliefs are creating your reality right now. If they're not supporting what you want to create, they need to change. Fourth, align your frequency with your desired reality. This is the most important step and the one most people skip. You can't create from a state of lack, fear, or desperation. You have to become the frequency of what you want to create. If you want abundance, you need to feel abundant now, not in spite of your current circumstances, but because you recognize the abundance that already exists. If you want love, you need to be loved now. If you want peace, you need to cultivate peace within yourself first. This is the practice. Every single day, spend time feeling as if your desired reality is already true, not pretending, not fantasizing, actually embodying the emotions and state of being of the person living that reality. Let your nervous system adjust to that frequency. Let your subconscious mind accept it as normal. Let your energy field reorganize itself around it. Fifth, take inspired action from this elevated state. Not action to make something happen, but action because you're already the person who does these things. Not action from desperation, but action from alignment. Notice the difference in how it feels. Notice what opportunities appear. Notice how doors open that were previously locked. And finally, release attachment to specific outcomes or timelines. This seems contradictory. How can you create consciously while simultaneously letting go? But this is the key. You're not trying to control reality. You're not manipulating the field. You're aligning yourself with your desires and then allowing life to deliver them in whatever form is best. Sometimes what shows up is exactly what you envisioned. Sometimes it's even better. Sometimes it looks completely different, but fulfills the same core desire in a way you couldn't have planned. Stay open. Stay flexible. Trust the creation process. Here's what changes when you truly step into your role as creator. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop waiting for permission or for perfect conditions. You stop making excuses about why you can't have what you want. You stop giving your power away to circumstances or other people. Instead, you feel empowered, alive, excited about what's possible. You understand that every moment is an opportunity to create something new. Every choice is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. Every thought, every emotion, every action is shaping your experience. You're not at the mercy of life. You are life, expressing itself through your unique form, creating endlessly, constantly bringing new realities into being. This is not arrogance. This is not narcissism. This is simply recognizing the truth of what you are, a divine creative force, temporarily housed in a human body, here to experience the joy and power of conscious creation. You've always been creating. You've always had this power. The only difference now is that you're aware of it. You're using it intentionally. You're becoming the deliberate architect of your existence instead of the unconscious builder of default realities. So, what will you create? What reality will you bring forth from the infinite field of possibility? What will you make manifest through the power of your consciousness? The choice is yours. It always has been. But now you know it. And that changes everything. You are not a leaf blown by the wind of circumstance. You are the wind. You are the force. You are the creator. Now create. Chapter 12. Quantum leaps and boundaries. There's a ceiling in your life right now. You might not see it clearly, but you feel it. It's that invisible limit on how much you allow yourself to have, to be, to experience. It's the boundary of your comfort zone, the edge of what feels safe and familiar. And you've been bouncing against this ceiling for years, maybe decades, getting close to breakthrough, then pulling back, rising up, then contracting, taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You tell yourself it's normal, it's realistic, it's being responsible. But the truth is, it's fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of your own power, fear of what might happen if you actually let yourself expand beyond this boundary you've been living within. But here's what you need to understand. That ceiling, that boundary, it's not real. It's not actually stopping you. It's a construct of your mind, a limitation you've accepted, a story you've been telling yourself about how big your life can be. And quantum leaps happen when you finally break through it. You've been taught that growth is gradual, that change takes time, that you need to be patient, take small steps, make incremental progress. And yes, sustainable growth often does work that way, but not always. Sometimes, and this is what most people never discover, change happens in an instant. Not the slow, steady climb up the mountain, but a sudden leap to an entirely new level, a quantum leap. Quantum leaps are those moments when everything shifts at once, when you're not just a little better than you were yesterday, but fundamentally different. When you're not making progress within your current reality, but stepping into an entirely new reality altogether. These leaps happen when you're willing to go beyond your current boundaries into territory that feels dangerous, precisely because it's unfamiliar. They happen when you stop playing it safe and start playing all in. They happen when you're willing to be uncomfortable, uncertain, and vulnerable in service of your expansion. Think about the caterpillar in its cocoon. There's no gradual transition from caterpillar to butterfly. The caterpillar literally dissolves. Its entire body breaks down into a kind of cellular soup. Imagine how terrifying that must be if the caterpillar has any awareness of what's happening. Everything it has been is being destroyed. But from that destruction comes reconstruction. The butterfly emerges not as an improved caterpillar, but as something entirely new. Wings where there were none. The ability to fly where before it could only crawl. A complete transformation that happened not through slow change, but through total dissolution and rebirth. You are ready for your dissolution. You are ready to let the old you, the limited, small, safe version, break down so something magnificent can emerge. But it won't happen automatically. It requires courage. It requires a willingness to step into the void, into that space where the old you no longer exists, but the new you hasn't fully formed yet. That space is where most people panic and retreat. That space is where quantum leaps are born. Here's what stepping beyond your boundaries actually looks like. It means doing things that scare you, not recklessly, not without discernment, but with full awareness that growth lives on the other side of fear. It means having the conversation you've been avoiding, leaving the situation that's killing your spirit, even though you don't know what comes next. Starting the project that might fail, sharing your voice even though you might be criticized, investing in yourself even though it feels financially uncomfortable. Every time you choose the uncomfortable expansion over the comfortable contraction, you teach yourself something vital. You're more capable than you thought. You're more resilient than you believed. You're more powerful than you've been allowing yourself to be. And each time you survive, thrive, beyond your previous boundary, your nervous system recalibrates. What once felt impossible becomes normal. What once triggered panic becomes manageable. Your capacity expands, your comfort zone grows, and what was once a quantum leap becomes your new baseline. But here's the thing about boundaries, they're fractal. meaning every time you break through one, you discover another one beyond it. This isn't frustrating, it's exciting. It means there's no limit to how far you can expand. Each boundary you break through reveals new possibilities you couldn't even see from your previous position. So how do you make quantum leaps instead of just incremental changes? First, identify your ceiling. Where have you been playing small? What have you been telling yourself you can't do or can't have? What opportunity are you not pursuing because it feels too big? What relationship are you settling for? What income level have you unconsciously decided is enough? What creative expression are you suppressing? Be honest. This ceiling exists. You know where it is. Second, feel into what's beyond that ceiling. Don't just think about it, feel it. Close your eyes and imagine yourself already living beyond this limitation. How does it feel in your body? What emotions arise? Is it excitement mixed with terror? That's a good sign. That means you're touching real expansion. Notice the resistance. Notice the voice that says, "That's not realistic," or "Who do you think you are?" or "You're not ready." That voice is the guardian of your boundary. It's trying to keep you safe within the known. Thank it for its protection and tell it you're going beyond anyway. Third, identify one action, one clear, specific action that would move you beyond this boundary. Not an action that maintains your current reality, but an action that would only make sense if you were already living beyond your limitation. This is key. You can't think your way into a new reality. You have to act your way into it. And the action that creates quantum leaps is the action that scares you, the action that feels premature, the action that your logical mind says you're not ready for. Maybe it's quitting the job before you have the next one lined up. Maybe it's making the investment before you feel financially stable. Maybe it's declaring your truth before you feel brave enough. Maybe it's starting before you feel prepared. This doesn't mean being irresponsible or reckless. It means trusting yourself enough to leap before you can see the net. Because here's the secret. The net appears when you leap, not before. The universe rewards bold action. Life rushes in to support those who demonstrate, through their choices, that they're serious about their expansion. Fourth, burn the boats. This is an ancient military strategy. When armies would land on enemy shores, they would burn their own boats, so retreat was impossible. They had to move forward or die. There was no plan B. You need to eliminate your escape routes. Stop giving yourself the option to retreat back to comfort when things get hard. If you're starting a business, quit the backup job. If you're pursuing your dream, stop spending energy on the fallback plan. If you're committing to the relationship, stop keeping one foot out the door. Burning the boats doesn't guarantee success, but it dramatically increases the odds because it forces you to bring all of your energy, creativity, and resourcefulness to the challenge. You stop hedging. You stop playing it safe. You go all in. And when you go all in, you tap into resources within yourself that you didn't know existed. Fifth, expect discomfort and don't let it stop you. Breaking through boundaries is uncomfortable. Your ego will panic. Your nervous system will activate stress responses. Your mind will produce every reason why this was a terrible idea. This is all normal. This is not a sign that you've made a mistake. This is a sign that you're actually doing it. The discomfort is the dissolution phase. You're in the cocoon. Trust the process. And finally, celebrate the leap even before you see the results. The victory isn't in the outcome. It's in the choice to leap. It's in the courage to step beyond what was familiar. It's in the willingness to break your own ceiling and discover what lies beyond. When you make a quantum leap, you're not just changing your circumstances. You're changing who you are. You're expanding your identity. You're teaching yourself at a cellular level that you're capable of more than you've been allowing. And here's what most people don't realize. Quantum leaps are cumulative. Each one makes the next one easier. Each boundary you break through gives you more confidence to break through the next. Each time you survive your own expansion, you trust yourself more deeply. Eventually, living beyond your boundaries becomes your new normal. The impossible becomes possible, then probable, then inevitable. You become someone who naturally operates at a level that would have seemed unreachable to your former self. This is how people create extraordinary lives, not through centuries of gradual improvement, but through a series of quantum leaps, each one catapulting them into a new stratosphere of possibility. You've been preparing for this your entire life. All the work you've done, all the growth you've experienced, all the practices you've implemented, they've brought you to this edge, this boundary, this ceiling that's ready to shatter. The question is, will you leap? Will you step into the terrifying, exhilarating unknown? Will you give yourself permission to be more than you've been, to have more than you've had, to create more than you've created? The old you cannot take you where you want to go. That version of you, as beautiful and necessary as it's been, has reached its limit. It's served its purpose, but its purpose is complete. Now it's time to dissolve, to break through, to leap into the person you're becoming. Your quantum leap is waiting. The only question is, are you ready to jump? Chapter 13, The Oneness of All Things. You've been seeing yourself as separate, a distinct entity, an individual consciousness, a single point of awareness navigating through a world of other separate things. You look at another person and see someone fundamentally different from you. You look at nature and see something outside yourself. You look at the universe and see a vast external reality that you exist within. This perception of separation is the root of almost all suffering. It's also an illusion. There is no separation. There never was. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. This isn't poetry. This isn't spiritual bypassing or New Age fantasy. This is the deepest truth about the nature of reality, confirmed by both ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. Quantum physics has shown us that everything is interconnected at the most fundamental level. Particles that have interacted remain connected regardless of the distance between them, a phenomenon called quantum entanglement. Change the state of one particle, and the other responds instantaneously, even if it's on the other side of the universe. Separate? No. Different expressions of the same unified field. Biologists have discovered that the boundaries we think define us are permeable, fluid, constantly exchanging matter and energy with everything around us. The atoms in your body right now have been part of countless other beings. The air you breathe has been breathed by every human who has ever lived. The water you drink has flowed through rivers and oceans and clouds and the bodies of dinosaurs. Where does you begin and not you end? The boundary is arbitrary. Mystics throughout history have reported the same direct experience. When consciousness expands beyond the limited identification with the body-mind, it recognizes itself as everything. Not metaphorically everything, but literally everything. The same awareness looking out through your eyes is looking out through every pair of eyes. The same consciousness animating your thoughts is animating all consciousness. There is only one thing happening here, expressing itself as many things. You are that one thing. So is everyone else. So is everything. This recognition, this lived understanding of oneness, changes everything. Because if there is no real separation, then your transformation is not just about you, it's about all of us. When you heal, you contribute to the healing of the collective. When you raise your frequency, you help raise the frequency of humanity. When you break free from limitation, you make it easier for others to do the same. You are not transforming in isolation. You're transforming as part of a larger transformation that's happening to and through our entire species. Think about a wave in the ocean. Is the wave separate from the ocean? It appears to be a distinct form, rising and falling, moving across the surface. You can point to it and say, that wave. But what is it actually? It's the ocean itself, temporarily expressing in a particular pattern. The wave is not other than the ocean. It's the ocean waving. You are the universe waving. You are existence itself, temporarily formed into this particular pattern called your name, your body, your personality, your life. You're a unique expression, yes, but not a separate one. You're the universe experiencing itself from this specific vantage point, and every other being is the same. The person who irritates you, that's the universe too. The person you love, the universe. The stranger on the street, the universe. The bird singing outside your window, the universe. The tree, the mountain, the star, all of it. The universe experiencing itself in countless forms. When you truly understand this, compassion becomes natural. How can you harm another when you recognize them as another version of yourself? How can you judge someone when you see that they're you, playing a different role, learning different lessons, expressing from a different perspective? The boundaries that have kept you feeling isolated and alone dissolve. You're not navigating life as a solitary self, hoping to occasionally connect with other solitary selves. You're a cell in a vast body, inherently connected to every other cell, naturally in communion with the whole. This is what's meant by unity consciousness. Not that differences don't exist, they do, and they're beautiful, but that beneath the differences is a fundamental sameness. Beneath the many is the one. Your transformation matters because you matter, not in an ego-inflated way, but in the deepest possible way. You are a crucial part of the whole. When you change, the whole changes. When you evolve, humanity evolves. When you wake up, the collective awakening accelerates. This is not a burden, it's a celebration. It means your life has cosmic significance. It means every choice you make reverberates through the entire field. It means you cannot not matter. There's a concept in systems theory called the 100th monkey effect. When a critical mass of individuals in a system learns something new, the learning spontaneously spreads to the entire population, even without direct contact. One monkey learns to wash sweet potatoes, then another, and suddenly, monkeys on different islands who have never been in contact with the first group are washing their potatoes too. You are one of the monkeys washing the potatoes. Your transformation is part of a critical mass that's building, and when enough individuals raise their consciousness, break free from limitation, remember their true nature, the entire species will shift. But this understanding of oneness also carries responsibility. If you're not separate from everything, then how you treat anything is how you treat yourself. The planet you pollute is your own body. The person you judge is your own heart. The inequality you ignore is your own suffering. This doesn't mean you have to save the world or fix everything. It means you live with awareness. You make choices that honor the inner connection. You contribute to the collective in whatever way feels authentic to you. For some, that means activism or service. For others, it means creating beauty or spreading joy. For others still, it means simply doing your own inner work so thoroughly that your very presence becomes a healing force. There's no hierarchy of contribution. Every genuine expression of your awakened self serves the whole. Because here's another layer. You're not just connected to other humans. You're connected to all life. The plants, the animals, the ecosystems, the planet itself. All of it is you. All of it is consciousness exploring itself through different forms. When you walk in nature, you're not visiting a separate place. You're coming home to another aspect of yourself. When you feel awe at the beauty of the natural world, you're recognizing your own beauty reflected back to you. And it goes even further. You're not just connected to life on this planet. You're connected to the entire cosmos. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of stars. You are literally made of stardust, animated by the same force that moves galaxies and births planets. The universe is not something you're in. You are what the universe is doing here now as this particular expression of itself. Can you feel how vast you are, how infinite, how ancient and eternal? This body, this personality, this life, they're temporary, but what you truly are has no beginning and no end. You are the eternal consciousness, playing at being limited, pretending to be small, forgetting its infinite nature in order to experience the joy of remembering. And you're remembering now. That's what this transformation is. Not becoming something new, but recognizing what you've always been. Not acquiring something you lack, but remembering what you are. This understanding of oneness doesn't make your individual life less important. It makes it more important. Because now you see that your life is not just your own. It's how the universe is experiencing itself right here, right now. It's how consciousness is exploring this particular facet of existence. Your transformation is the universe transforming. Your awakening is the universe awakening. Your joy is the universe celebrating itself. And when you live from this understanding, everything shifts. The petty concerns that once consumed, you lose their grip. The fear that drove so much of your behavior relaxes. The need to prove yourself or compete with others dissolves. The sense of being alone in a hostile world transforms into the recognition that you are the world, and it is inherently friendly because it is you. You begin to see the divine in everything, not as a concept, but as direct experience. The face of the person in front of you becomes the face of God. The beauty of the sunset becomes the universe showing you its own magnificence. The challenges you face become the universe inviting you to discover more of your capacity. This is the great expansion, from the limited sense of being a separate self, struggling to survive in an indifferent universe, to the recognition that you are the universe itself, eternally exploring, creating, experiencing, evolving through countless forms. You are one with all things. You always have been. You always will be. And this oneness is not passive or abstract. It's alive, dynamic, creative. It's expressing through you as your unique gifts, your specific purpose, your particular contribution to the whole. You don't lose yourself in oneness. You find yourself, your true, vast, unlimited self. And from that recognition, you live differently, you love differently, you create differently. You walk through the world knowing that you are the world, and that changes everything. Chapter 14, The Divine Purpose. Unfolds. You've been searching for your purpose, looking for that one thing you're meant to do, that special assignment that will give your life meaning. You've felt the pressure of it, the need to figure out why you're here, what you're supposed to contribute, what will finally make you feel like your existence matters. But what if you've been asking the wrong question? What if purpose is not something you find, but something that finds you? What if it's not a single destination, but a continuous unfolding? What if everything, every experience, every challenge, every joy, every pain, every relationship, every loss has been purposeful, leading you exactly where you need to be? There is a divine intelligence orchestrating your life, not micromanaging every detail, but guiding the larger patterns, ensuring that you encounter exactly what your soul needs for its evolution. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted, everything is purposeful, even the things that seemed like mistakes, especially those things. The relationship that broke your heart, it cracked you open so love could enter more deeply. The job you lost, it freed you from a path that wasn't yours. The failure that humiliated you, it shattered your false identity so your true self could emerge. The trauma you endured, it gave you the depth, the compassion, the wisdom that now defines your most powerful gifts. You didn't always see it this way. At the time, these experiences felt like detours, like setbacks, like evidence that you were off track. But now, from this vantage point, can you see the perfection? Can you see how each experience was exactly what you needed, arriving at exactly the right time? To become who you are now, this is not about justifying suffering or pretending painful experiences weren't painful. It's about recognizing that life is not happening randomly. There's a deeper order at work, a divine choreography that's been guiding you all along. Your soul chose this life. Not every specific circumstance, but the general terrain, the major themes, the key relationships and challenges that would provide the optimal conditions for your growth. Before you were born, at the level of your highest consciousness, you looked at the vast field of possibility and said, yes, this one, this life will teach me what I need to learn. This life will give me the experiences I need to evolve. This life will offer me the opportunities to embody my highest potential. And every single moment since then has been in service of that soul-level intention. The divine purpose that's unfolding through you is not a specific career or achievement. It's not about becoming famous or rich or acclaimed. It's about evolution. It's about consciousness expanding through you, expressing through you, creating through you. Your purpose is to become more of who you truly are, to remember your divine nature, to embody love more fully, to express your unique essence more authentically, to contribute your particular gifts to the collective evolution. And here's the beautiful part. You can't get this wrong. You can't be off purpose. Even when you think you're lost, you're exactly where the journey has led you. Even when you think you've failed, you're learning exactly what you need to know. Even when you think you've wasted time, you've been gathering exactly the experiences you'll need for what's coming. The divine purpose doesn't unfold according to your timeline or your preferences. It unfolds according to what your soul actually needs, which is often different from what your ego wants. Your ego wants comfort, safety, validation, certainty. Your soul wants growth, expansion, depth, truth. So sometimes the divine purpose guides you into challenges that seem cruel, into endings that feel devastating, into confusion that seems unbearable, not because life is punishing you, but because these are the experiences that crack you open, strip away your false layers, and force you to discover who you really are beneath all the conditioning. Think about how metal is purified. It's subjected to intense heat that burns away the impurities. The process looks destructive, but it's actually revelatory, revealing the true nature of the metal that was always there, hidden beneath the dross. Your most difficult experiences have been that fire, and what emerges is the gold that you are. The divine purpose is also unfolding through your gifts. The things you're naturally good at, the things that make you come alive, the things you can't not do, these aren't accidents. They're clues. They're how the universe wants to express through you. Maybe you're a natural teacher, able to illuminate complex ideas with clarity. Maybe you're a healer whose presence alone makes people feel safe. Maybe you're an artist, channeling beauty into form. Maybe you're a builder, creating systems and structures. Maybe you're a connector, weaving people and resources together. Whatever your gifts, they're not just for you, they're for everyone. They're your contribution to the whole. And the more fully you develop and share them, the more aligned you become with your divine purpose. But here's where it gets subtle. Your purpose is not just about what you do, it's about who you be. You could be doing the right work, but from the wrong state of consciousness, and it wouldn't be purposeful. Or you could be doing something that seems ordinary, raising children, serving coffee, maintaining gardens, but doing it with such presence, such love, such consciousness, that it becomes deeply purposeful. The divine purpose is about bringing more light into the world. That light can express through 1,000 different forms. The form matters less than the consciousness behind it. So how do you align with your divine purpose? How do you participate consciously in the unfolding? First, trust what has happened. Stop fighting your past. Stop wishing it had been different. Every experience has been purposeful. Accept it, integrate it. Let the lessons become wisdom. Second, pay attention to what calls you, not what impresses others or makes logical sense or promises security, but what genuinely calls to your soul. What makes you lose track of time? What would you do even if no one paid you? What breaks your heart with its beauty or its injustice? These are messages from your divine purpose, showing you where to focus your energy. Third, follow the energy. Your divine purpose will always feel like expansion, like aliveness, like yes. It won't always be easy, often it's terrifying, but underneath the fear will be a sense of rightness. When you're aligned with your purpose, you feel more yourself. When you're off track, you feel contracted, diminished, like you're betraying something essential. Fourth, serve something larger than yourself. Your purpose will always have a component of contribution, not because you should be selfless, but because the divine purpose recognizes that you're not separate from the whole. Serving others is serving yourself. Uplifting the collective is uplifting you. Your purpose is not just about your individual fulfillment. It's about how your fulfillment serves the evolution of consciousness itself. Fifth, surrender the need to see the whole path. The divine purpose reveals itself step by step, not all at once. You don't need to know where you'll be in 10 years. You just need to follow the next indicated step. Trust that each step will reveal the next. Trust that you're being guided even when you can't see where you're going. And finally, remember that your divine purpose is not separate from your transformation. This journey you've been on, the awakening, the healing, the growth, this is your purpose, not something you have to complete before you can start your real purpose, but the purpose itself. You're here to evolve consciousness. You're here to remember who you truly are. You're here to embody more light, more love, more truth. And as you do this, the specific ways you're meant to express and contribute will naturally reveal themselves. The divine purpose is unfolding perfectly. Right now, through this very moment, through the reading of these words, through whatever you do next. You don't have to earn it or find it or figure it out. You just have to recognize it. You just have to say yes to it. You just have to trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you're meant to become. Your life is not a mistake. It's not a series of random events with no meaning. It's a sacred unfolding, a divine orchestration, a purposeful journey that has been guiding you home to yourself all along. And now that you can see this, now that you understand, everything shifts. The pressure to figure it out releases. The anxiety about whether you're on the right path dissolves. The fear that you've wasted time or made wrong choices loses its power because you can finally see the truth. You've been on purpose all along. The divine intelligence has been working through every moment of your life, and it's leading you always toward the fullest expression of your magnificent self. Your purpose is unfolding. Trust it, embody it, live it, and watch as everything you've ever experienced reveals itself as exactly what it was meant to be. Perfect preparation for the extraordinary life that's waiting to emerge through you. Chapter 15, Walking as Light in the World. You've come so far. Can you feel it? The person who started this journey is not the person you are now. Something fundamental has shifted. You see differently. You feel differently. You understand differently. You are different. But transformation isn't complete when you've awakened to your truth. It's complete when you live it. When you walk through the world as the embodiment of everything you've discovered, when your very presence becomes a transmission of the light you've found within yourself. This is your calling now, to be the living proof that transformation is possible, to walk as light in a world that often feels dark, to be the beacon that helps others find their way home to themselves, not through preaching, not through convincing, not through proving anything to anyone, simply by being so authentically, unapologetically yourself that others can feel permission to do the same. This is what it means to walk as light, to live from your truth even when it's uncomfortable, to make choices aligned with your highest self even when they're not popular, to speak authentically even when your voice shakes, to love openly even when you might be hurt, to create boldly even when you might be criticized, to shine brightly even when others prefer you dimmed. The world needs your light, not some future, more perfect version of it, not after you've healed everything or figured everything out. Now, exactly as you are, with all your beautiful imperfections, your still healing wounds, your ongoing growth. Because here's the truth, nobody is inspired by perfection. Perfection is cold, distant, unrelatable. What inspires people is authenticity, vulnerability, the courage to show up fully human while reaching for something divine. When people encounter someone who is genuinely being themselves, not performing, not posing, not hiding, something in them recognizes itself. A part of them that's been waiting for permission suddenly feels safe enough to emerge. Your authenticity gives others permission to be authentic. Your courage gives others permission to be courageous. Your light reminds others of their own light. This is how transformation spreads, not through teaching or telling, but through transmission, through the energetic frequency you carry, through the way you show up, through the choices you make and the life you live. You don't have to be perfect at it. You'll have days when you forget, days when you slip back into old patterns, days when fear wins and you play small. That's human. That's normal. That's part of the journey. But increasingly, you'll catch yourself. You'll notice when you're not being authentic and you'll choose to realign. You'll feel when you're dimming your light and you'll choose to shine anyway. You'll recognize when fear is driving and you'll choose love instead. This is mastery, not perfection but awareness, not never falling but always choosing to rise, not being superhuman but being fully, courageously human. Walking as light also means holding space for others without trying to fix or change them. You understand now that everyone is on their own journey, learning their own lessons, unfolding in their own timing. You can't do the work for them. You can't save them from their necessary struggles. You can't make them see what they're not ready to see. But you can be present. You can witness them without judgment. You can reflect back their light when they've forgotten it exists. You can remind them through your own example that transformation is possible. Sometimes walking as light means staying soft in a hard world, keeping your heart open even when it's been broken, choosing compassion even toward those who haven't earned it, seeing the humanity in everyone, even those who have lost sight of their own. This isn't weakness. This is the highest form of strength. It takes far more courage to remain vulnerable than to armor yourself. It takes far more power to lead with love than to react with fear. Other times, walking as light means having firm boundaries, saying no to what drains you, removing yourself from toxic environments, refusing to participate in dynamics that diminish you, standing in your truth even when it causes conflict. This isn't selfishness, this is self-honoring. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot be light for others if you've extinguished your own flame. Protecting your energy, your peace, your well-being, this is sacred work. The balance is in discernment, knowing when to stay open and when to close, when to give and when to receive, when to serve and when to rest, when to speak and when to be silent. This wisdom develops over time, through practice, through paying attention to what serves your highest good and what diminishes it. Walking as light means becoming comfortable with being seen. This might be the hardest part. You've spent so much of your life hiding, playing small, not wanting to stand out. But you can't walk as light while staying invisible. Light, by its nature, is visible. This doesn't mean seeking attention or trying to be famous. It means allowing yourself to be witnessed in your truth, sharing your gifts without apologizing, speaking your wisdom without diminishing it, shining without worrying about making others uncomfortable with your brightness. Some people will celebrate you, some will criticize you, some will be inspired by you, some will be threatened by you. This is not your concern. Your concern is staying true to yourself, staying aligned with your purpose, staying connected to your light. The judgment of others cannot touch the truth of who you are. The criticism of those still playing small cannot diminish those who have expanded. You are not responsible for other people's reactions to your growth. You are only responsible for continuing to grow. Walking as light also means living with integrity, making sure your actions match your words, being in private who you present yourself to be in public, doing the right thing even when no one is watching, treating everyone, regardless of their status, their appearance, their ability to benefit you, with dignity and respect. This is how you build unshakable self-respect. This is how you become someone you're proud to be, not through what you achieve or accomplish, but through how you conduct yourself, through the character you develop, through the person you become. And here's what happens when you commit to walking as light. Your life becomes a masterpiece, not perfect, not without challenges, but rich with meaning. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to practice love. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to demonstrate trust. Every choice becomes an opportunity to align with your highest truth. You stop wasting energy on pretense or performance. You stop exhausting yourself trying to be who you think others want you to be. You stop playing roles that were never yours to play. Instead, you simply be, fully, unapologetically, courageously yourself. And that presence, that authentic, aligned presence, becomes the greatest gift you can offer the world. Because the world doesn't need more people pretending to be perfect. It doesn't need more people hiding their struggles or faking their happiness. It needs people willing to be real, people willing to show that transformation is possible without pretending it's easy, people willing to be light without claiming they never experienced darkness. You are that person now. You've done the work, you've faced your shadows, you've questioned your beliefs, you've challenged your limitations, you've remembered your truth, you've claimed your power. Now you walk, not perfectly, but purposefully, not without fear, but without letting fear stop you, not knowing all the answers, but trusting the journey, not having arrived at some final destination, but fully engaged with the ongoing process of becoming. You walk as light, and with every step you illuminate the path for those behind you. With every choice you demonstrate what's possible. With every moment of authentic self-expression, you remind others of their own light waiting to be claimed. This is your legacy, not what you achieve or acquire, but who you become and how you inspire others to become themselves. This is your purpose, not some grand mission that requires fanfare, but the sacred work of living your truth and giving others permission to live theirs. This is your transformation complete, not when you've perfected yourself, but when you've accepted yourself completely and decided to share that acceptance with the world. Walk as light, not because you must, but because you finally can. Not because you're special, but because you've remembered that everyone is special and you've stopped pretending otherwise. Walk as light, because you are light. You always have been. And now, finally, beautifully, courageously, you're ready to shine. The world is waiting, not for you to save it, but for you to remind it of its own brilliance. Not for you to fix it, but for you to embody the solution. Not for you to change it, but for you to be so fully yourself that change becomes inevitable. Walk as light. This is who you are. This is what you came here to do. This is the transformation lived, breathed, embodied. Now go, shine, and watch as your light ignites lights in everyone you touch, until the whole world remembers what it has always been. One infinite light, expressing itself through countless beautiful forms. You are that light. Walk as such, and know that every step you take illuminates the way for all of us. Chapter 16. The Light Within All. You've discovered the light within yourself. You've felt its warmth, its power, its transformative capacity. You've learned to tend it, to amplify it, to let it guide you. And this discovery has changed everything about how you experience your life. But now you need to understand something that will expand your perspective beyond anything you've considered before. The light within you is not yours alone. It's not separate or individual. The light you've found blazing in your own heart is the same light blazing in every heart, whether they know it or not. Every single person you encounter, the ones you love, the ones who irritate you, the ones you pass on the street without a second glance, carries this same light. It might be buried under layers of pain, fear, conditioning, and forgetting. It might be so dim they can't feel its warmth anymore. But it's there, always, waiting to be remembered. You are not alone in this transformation. You are part of a vast awakening that's happening across the entire human family. Millions of people are waking up, remembering who they truly are, reclaiming their power, stepping into their light. Some are ahead of you on the path. Many are behind you. All of you are part of the same movement, the same evolution, the same rising tide of consciousness. This is what's meant by collective consciousness. We are not billions of separate minds, each operating independently. We are individual expressions of one vast, unified field of consciousness, like waves in an ocean. Each wave appears distinct, has its own shape and size and movement, but every wave is made of the same water. Remove the wave, and only ocean remains. We are that ocean, temporarily waving, and because we're connected at this fundamental level, your transformation ripples through the entire field. When you heal, you don't just heal yourself. You make healing more accessible to everyone. When you break through a limitation, you weaken that limitation in the collective field, making it easier for others to break through it too. When you remember your light, you strengthen the remembering in all of us. This is not metaphor. This is how consciousness actually works. We've been taught to see ourselves as isolated individuals, but that's an illusion created by our perception of physical separation. At the level of consciousness, we're intimately interconnected, constantly influencing each other in ways we're only beginning to understand. Think about how quickly ideas spread, how trends emerge seemingly out of nowhere, as if they were ideas whose time had come. How multiple inventors often discover the same thing simultaneously in different parts of the world. How you might think of someone and they call moments later. How being in the presence of someone calm can settle your nervous system, or being around someone anxious can activate yours. These aren't coincidences. They're evidence of our shared field. We're swimming in an ocean of collective consciousness, and every thought, every emotion, every realization creates ripples that touch everyone. Your responsibility, then, is not just to yourself. It's to the collective, not as a burden, but as a profound privilege. You have the opportunity to contribute to the evolution of human consciousness simply by continuing your own evolution. Every practice you engage in, every limiting belief you release, every moment you choose love over fear, all of it serves not just you, but all of us. This is why your personal transformation matters on a cosmic scale. This is why doing your inner work is not selfish, but deeply generous. This is why healing yourself is one of the most important contributions you can make to the world. But it goes even deeper. As you raise your consciousness, you literally change the field around you. Your presence becomes healing. People feel different in your company, though they may not be able to articulate why. You stabilize environments simply by being there. You shift conversations by the frequency you carry. You inspire transformation in others without trying to, without even speaking, just by being the embodiment of your own transformation. This is the power of walking as light. You become a tuning fork that others unconsciously attune to. When you're anchored in peace, others feel more peaceful around you. When you're grounded in trust, others feel safer. When you're radiating joy, others feel permission to access their own joy. You've become what's called a consciousness elevator. Simply by raising your own consciousness, you raise the consciousness of everyone you encounter. The higher you go, the more people you can lift. But this comes with awareness. You cannot uplift others while betraying yourself. You cannot hold space for others' growth while neglecting your own. You cannot be a light for the world while dimming your own flame. Your first responsibility is always to your own light, not selfishly, but because your light is your greatest gift to the collective. Think of yourself as a cell in the body of humanity. When a cell is healthy, vibrant, functioning optimally, it contributes to the health of the entire body. When a cell is sick, depleted, or functioning poorly, it drains the body's resources. You serve the body best by being the healthiest cell you can be. This also means you're not responsible for fixing, saving, or healing anyone else. That's their journey, their responsibility, their transformation. Trying to force someone else's awakening is not only futile, it's a violation of their sovereignty. Everyone has the right to their own timing, their own pace, their own path. What you can do is hold space. Be present without needing to fix. Witness without judgment. Reflect their light back to them when they've forgotten it exists. Trust their journey even when it looks different from yours. Love them where they are while knowing they're capable of more. This is true service. Being so grounded in your own light that you can hold space for others to find theirs, without making their journey about you, without needing them to change, without requiring validation through their transformation. Some people will be ready to see the light you're holding. They'll feel it, recognize it, be drawn to it. These are your people, your tribe, the souls you're here to walk with. Love them fiercely, support them fully, celebrate their growth as your own. Others won't be ready. They'll be threatened by your light, resistant to your transformation, critical of your choices. They might try to pull you back to who you used to be, back to the level where they still operate. This is not their fault, it's their fear. Love them anyway, but don't let them dim you. Sometimes loving someone means loving them from a distance. And here's what you need to understand about the collective evolution. It's not about everyone waking up at once. It's about reaching critical mass. There's a tipping point. Researchers suggest it might be as low as 10–15% of a population, where the transformed minority influences the entire system. When enough individuals awaken, the collective consciousness shifts, making it easier and more natural for everyone else to awaken too. You are part of that critical mass. Your transformation matters. Your light counts. You are not a passive observer of the collective evolution. You are an active participant, a crucial component, a necessary piece of the puzzle. This is the sacred responsibility of your awakening, to keep growing, keep healing, keep expanding, not just for yourself, but for all of us. To be the light you've discovered yourself to be, regardless of who's watching or who approves. To trust that your personal transformation serves the collective transformation, even when you can't see the direct impact. Because here's the truth. You cannot see all the ways your light touches others. You cannot measure all the ripples you create. You might never know how your presence changed someone's day, how your words shifted someone's perspective, how your example gave someone hope. The full impact of your light is invisible to you, but that doesn't make it any less real. So you walk forward, tending your light, sharing your light, trusting that your light matters, not because you'll get credit for it, not because you'll see the results, but because you know at the deepest level that we're all in this together, that your liberation contributes to our collective liberation, that your remembering helps all of us remember. The light within you is the light within all. It's the same light expressing through different forms, shining through different eyes, radiating through different hearts. And as you tend your light, you tend ours. As you share your light, you illuminate the way for all of us. This is the truth of your transformation. It was never just about you. It was always about us, all of us, waking up together, remembering together, coming home to the light we've always been, together. Chapter 17, The Challenge of Mastery. You might have thought that once you reached a certain level of transformation, it would get easier. That once you'd done enough inner work, broken through enough barriers, raised your consciousness sufficiently, you'd arrive at some plateau where you could finally rest, where the challenges would stop, where you'd have it all figured out. Let me tell you the truth, that plateau doesn't exist. Mastery is not a destination. It's a relationship with the ongoing journey of growth. The challenges don't stop. They evolve. They become more subtle, more complex, more nuanced. And in many ways, they become harder, not easier, because now you know better. Now you can see more clearly when you're not living in alignment. Now you feel the dissonance more acutely when you betray yourself. Now you're aware of the gap between who you know you can be and who you're actually being in any given moment. This awareness is both a gift and a burden. You can't unknow what you know. You can't go back to unconscious living. Once you've tasted freedom, playing small feels suffocating. Once you've felt your power, giving it away feels like betrayal. Once you've touched your light, living in darkness becomes unbearable. Welcome to the challenge of mastery. Mastery means you're held to a higher standard, not by others, but by yourself. You know what's possible now. You know what you're capable of. You know the tools, the practices, the truths that can transform any situation. And so when you find yourself falling back into old patterns, reacting from old wounds, choosing fear over love, the awareness stings. This is good. This discomfort is the pressure that creates diamonds. This awareness is what keeps you growing instead of stagnating. But it can also create a trap if you're not careful. The trap is perfectionism masquerading as mastery. It's the belief that because you know better, you should be better all the time, that you shouldn't still struggle, that you shouldn't still have bad days, reactive moments, times when you forget everything you've learned and fall back into fear. But here's what you need to understand. Mastery doesn't mean perfection. Mastery means awareness and response. It means you might still fall, but you fall with consciousness. You might still get triggered, but you recognize it faster. You might still make mistakes, but you learn from them more quickly. You might still experience fear, but you don't let it drive for as long. Mastery is measured not by the absence of challenges, but by how you meet them. Not by never falling, but by how quickly you rise. Not by being beyond struggle, but by struggling with grace, awareness, and self-compassion. The challenge of mastery is holding both truths simultaneously. You are divine perfection exactly as you are, and you are continuously evolving into more. You are already whole, and you are always becoming. You have nothing to prove, and you have so much more to discover. You are enough, and you can expand infinitely. This paradox is the edge where mastery lives, accepting yourself completely while remaining committed to growth. Being satisfied while staying hungry, celebrating how far you've come while acknowledging how far you can go. Another challenge of mastery is isolation. As you grow, you might find yourself outgrowing relationships, communities, environments that once felt like home. The conversations that used to engage you now feel shallow. The dramas that used to consume you now seem exhausting. The people who used to get you now look at you like you're speaking a foreign language. This is natural, but it can be lonely. Not everyone will understand your transformation. Not everyone will celebrate your evolution. Some will feel threatened by it. Some will try to pull you back. Some will simply drift away, unable to meet you where you now are. And here's where mastery is tested. Can you let them go without bitterness? Can you honor their journey while staying true to yours? Can you be okay with being misunderstood, criticized, or abandoned by people who once defined your world? Mastery asks you to value your own growth more than others' approval, to trust your path even when it looks crazy to everyone else, to be willing to stand alone if standing with others requires you to shrink. But the loneliness is temporary. As you continue rising, you'll find your new tribe, the people vibrating at your frequency, speaking your language, walking the same path. These soul connections are deeper, richer, more nourishing than any connection based on shared woundedness or unconscious patterns. Another challenge. As you embody more light, you become more visible. You might have been able to hide when you were playing small, but light cannot help but shine. And when you shine, you attract attention, not all of it positive. Some will celebrate you, some will criticize you, some will project onto you their own unmet potential and resent you for embodying what they're afraid to claim. You'll be misunderstood, misquoted, judged, and occasionally attacked simply for being yourself fully. Mastery means developing unshakable inner authority, knowing who you are so deeply that others' opinions cannot destabilize you. Being so rooted in your truth that criticism rolls off without leaving marks. Staying open-hearted even when people try to hurt you. Continuing to shine even when it makes others uncomfortable. This doesn't mean you become cold or hard. It means you become resilient, soft on the inside, strong on the outside, compassionate but boundaried, loving but not naive. The challenge of mastery also includes integration. You've had profound realizations, peak experiences, moments of transcendence, where everything made sense and you felt completely aligned. But then you come back to ordinary reality, dishes to wash, bills to pay, conflicts to navigate, responsibilities to meet. And the challenge is, how do you live your awakening in the mundane? How do you stay connected to your highest self while dealing with traffic? How do you embody peace while managing difficult people? How do you maintain your frequency while navigating systems designed to keep you small? This is the real work of mastery, not achieving transcendence in perfect conditions, but maintaining alignment in imperfect ones. Not being spiritual on a mountaintop, but being conscious in the marketplace. Not accessing your power in meditation, but living from it in every interaction. Mastery means bringing heaven to earth, embodying spirit in matter, being fully human and fully divine simultaneously. This integration is harder than the initial awakening because it requires consistency, discipline, moment-by-moment awareness, and perhaps the greatest challenge of mastery, staying humble while owning your power. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, between knowing your worth and thinking you're superior, between being proud of your growth and being identified with it. The ego loves to hijack spiritual progress. It loves to turn your awakening into another way to be special, to stand out, to feel better than others. Look how conscious I am. Look how healed I am. Look how far I've evolved. This spiritual ego is more insidious than the regular ego because it's harder to spot and easier to justify. Mastery requires vigilance against this trap, remembering that your light isn't yours, you're just the vessel it's flowing through, recognizing that your gifts aren't for self-aggrandizement, but for service, staying grounded in the knowing that everyone is on their own perfect journey, and yours isn't better or more important, just different. True mastery bows. It recognizes the divine in everyone, It stays humble while standing tall. It owns its power without wielding it over others. It knows its worth without needing to prove it. So how do you navigate these challenges? How do you maintain mastery without becoming exhausted by the constant demand to be conscious, aware, aligned? First, by embracing imperfection. Give yourself permission to be human, to have off days, to make mistakes, to forget and remember and forget again. The path of mastery isn't a straight line up, it's a spiral, returning to the same lessons at deeper levels. Second, by prioritizing self-care. You cannot maintain mastery if you're depleted. Rest is not weakness. Boundaries are not selfishness. Taking time to recharge is not optional, it's essential. Master yourself by honoring your needs. Third, by staying connected to community. Find your people, the ones who understand, the ones who hold you accountable, the ones who celebrate your growth and challenge your complacency. You cannot walk this path entirely alone. Fourth, by maintaining your practices, the meditation, the journaling, the movement, the rituals that keep you centered. These aren't luxuries to be abandoned when life gets busy. They're the foundation that makes mastery possible. Protect them fiercely. And finally, by remembering why you started this journey, not to be perfect, not to transcend your humanity, but to become more fully yourself, to live with more consciousness, more love, more authenticity, more aliveness. Mastery is not about achieving some final perfect state. It's about continuously choosing growth, continuously choosing love, continuously choosing truth, even when, especially when, it's hard. This is the challenge. This is the path. This is what you've been preparing for, and you're ready. Chapter 18, Anchoring the Light. You've accessed higher states of consciousness. You've experienced moments of profound clarity, deep peace, expansive love. You've touched your divine nature and felt its power. These peak experiences are beautiful, transformative, necessary, but here's the challenge. How do you maintain that connection when you're back in the density of everyday life? How do you stay anchored in your light when the world is pulling you in 1,000 directions? How do you remain centered in your truth when external chaos is swirling? This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where transformation either becomes integrated into your actual life or remains a beautiful memory that fades over time. This is the work of anchoring. Anchoring means bringing the light you've accessed in peak moments into every ordinary moment. It means embodying your highest consciousness, not just during meditation or when everything is going well, but when you're stressed, tired, overwhelmed, triggered. It means making your awakening so integrated into your being that it becomes your default state, not something you have to try to access. Think about an anchor. It keeps a ship from drifting when winds blow and currents pull. It provides stability, a fixed point of reference. You need anchors that keep you connected to your truth when life is turbulent. Without them, you'll drift back into unconscious patterns, reactivity, and disconnection from your light. So what are these anchors? How do you install them so deeply that they become automatic? The first anchor is your breath. This might seem too simple, too basic, but breath is the most powerful tool you have for instant recalibration. Your breath is always with you. It requires no equipment, no special circumstances, no preparation, and it has the power to immediately shift your state. When you notice you're disconnected, anxious, reactive, scattered, contracted, come back to your breath. Not your normal automatic breathing, but conscious breath. Slow, deep, intentional. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, out for 6. Do this 3 times with full presence. This isn't just a calming technique, it's a physiological reset. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, signaling safety to your body. It brings your awareness back to the present moment. It interrupts automatic patterns and creates space for conscious choice. Make this a practice. Set reminders throughout your day to simply check in with your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Rapid or slow? Restricted or free? Then consciously deepen it. This simple practice, done consistently, will transform your entire nervous system's baseline. The second anchor is your body. You are not a head floating through space, processing thoughts and emotions abstractly. You are an embodied being, and your body is constantly giving you information about your state of consciousness. Tension in your shoulders, you're carrying stress, tightness in your chest, you're guarding your heart, clenching your jaw, you're holding back expression, butterflies in your stomach, you're anxious or excited, heaviness in your limbs, you're disconnected from your energy. Learn to read these signals. Your body knows before your mind does when you're out of alignment, and your body is the fastest way back to alignment. Throughout your day, do body scans. Bring awareness to different parts of your body, noticing where you're holding tension. Then consciously release it. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Soften your belly. Open your chest. Feel your feet on the ground. Physical grounding is literal. When you feel ungrounded, spacey, disconnected, overwhelmed, put your attention in your feet. Feel them on the floor. Feel the earth beneath you. Imagine roots growing from your feet deep into the earth. This simple practice can immediately restore your sense of stability. Movement is also crucial for anchoring. When energy is stuck, move it. Walk, dance, stretch, shake. Your body is not separate from your consciousness. It's where your consciousness lives. When you move your body consciously, you shift your energy, release what's stuck, and reconnect to your aliveness. The third anchor is ritual. Rituals are not superstitious behaviors. They're powerful neurological tools. When you perform the same action with the same intention repeatedly, you create neural pathways that automatically trigger specific states. Create rituals that anchor you to your light. Morning rituals that set your frequency for the day. Evening rituals that help you release what you've absorbed. Transition rituals between activities that help you show up fresh, rather than carry stress from one thing to the next. These don't need to be elaborate. A simple morning ritual might be: wake up, drink water, sit in silence for 5 minutes, set an intention for the day. An evening ritual might be: journal 3 things you're grateful for, do gentle stretches, read something inspiring. The power is in the consistency. When you do the same thing every day, your psyche knows what to expect. The ritual becomes a signal to your entire being. This is sacred time. This is when we connect. This is when we remember who we are. The fourth anchor is environment. Your external environment profoundly affects your internal state. You cannot maintain high consciousness in an environment that constantly drags you down. Look at your physical space. Does it uplift you or depress you? Is it chaotic or ordered? Does it reflect who you're becoming or who you used to be? Your environment should support your transformation, not hinder it. This doesn't mean everything has to be perfect or expensive. It means being intentional. Clear the clutter. Physical clutter creates mental clutter. Bring in elements that elevate your frequency. Plants, natural light, beauty, things that make you smile. Create a sacred space in your home, even if it's just a corner. A place where you do your practices, where you connect with yourself, where you remember your light. When you enter this space, your entire being knows. This is where we come home to ourselves. Environment also includes the people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, the conversations you engage in. Be ruthless about protecting your energetic space. If something consistently drains you, remove it. If someone repeatedly pulls you into drama or negativity, create boundaries. You cannot anchor your light while constantly exposing yourself to things that dim it. The fifth anchor is purpose. When you're connected to your why, your deeper purpose, your reason for being, the contribution you're here to make, You have a North Star that keeps you oriented even in storms. Write down your purpose, not your job or your goals, but your deeper purpose. Why are you here? What are you here to give? What lights you up? What breaks your heart? What would you do even if you were never recognized for it? Then connect with this purpose daily. Read it, feel it. Let it remind you what matters. When you're clear on your purpose, trivial things stop consuming your energy. Distractions lose their pull. You know what deserves your attention and what doesn't. The sixth anchor is presence. Most suffering comes from being mentally in the past or future. Regret, resentment, and rumination pull you into the past. Anxiety, worry, and fantasy pull you into the future. Presence brings you back to now, the only place your power exists. Practice bringing yourself back to the present moment throughout your day. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This simple sensory awareness practice immediately grounds you in now. When you're present, you're anchored. When you're anchored, you're accessing your light. When you're in your light, everything else takes care of itself. Finally, the most powerful anchor, self-compassion. You will forget. You will disconnect. You will fall back into old patterns. You will have days when you feel like you've lost everything you've gained. This is part of the process, not a failure of it. The anchor of self-compassion means treating yourself with kindness when you stumble, not beating yourself up, not spiraling into shame, not abandoning yourself when you're not being perfect. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to a beloved friend. You're doing your best. It's okay. You're learning. You're growing. I love you anyway. This compassionate inner voice is the strongest anchor of all because it keeps you from abandoning yourself when things get hard. These anchors, breath, body, ritual, environment, purpose, presence, self-compassion, are your tools for integration. They're how you make your transformation sustainable. They're how you ensure that your light doesn't remain a peak experience, but becomes your lived reality. Install them, practice them, return to them. Let them hold you when you forget how to hold yourself. This is how you anchor the light. This is how transformation becomes embodied. This is how you make sure that everything you've accessed, everything you've learned, everything you've become doesn't fade but deepens, strengthens, becomes unshakable. Anchor yourself. The world needs you stable, grounded, and shining. Chapter 19, The Infinite Path. You might be wondering when you'll arrive, when you'll finally be done with the journey of transformation, when you'll reach the place where you can say, I've made it, I'm complete, I'm finished. Let me give you the answer that might frustrate you at first, but will ultimately liberate you. Never. You're never done. There is no finish line. The path is infinite. This isn't bad news. This is the best news possible. What if I told you that the journey itself is the destination, that becoming is the entire point, that there is no static state of arrived because life itself is constant motion, constant evolution, constant expansion. You are not trying to get somewhere so you can finally stop. You are learning to fall in love with the journey itself, with the continuous unfolding, with the endless becoming. Think about the universe. It's not static, it's expanding, constantly, infinitely accelerating. Galaxies moving apart, space itself stretching, new stars being born, old ones dying, matter and energy in eternal dance. The universe doesn't arrive at a final state. It's perpetually creating, evolving, expressing. You are a fractal of that universe. The same creative force driving cosmic expansion is driving your personal evolution. To expect yourself to stop growing, to reach some final form, would be to deny your fundamental nature. Every level you reach opens up new levels beyond it. Every question you answer reveals deeper questions. Every realization you have shows you how much more there is to realize. This isn't frustrating, it's exhilarating. It means you can never be bored, you can never stagnate, you can never exhaust the possibilities of your own becoming. The infinite path means that mastery is not an endpoint, but a relationship with continuous growth. It means that no matter how far you've come, there's always further to go. No matter how much you've healed, there's always deeper healing available. No matter how expanded your consciousness, there's always more expansion possible. And here's the beautiful part. Each stage of the journey feels complete unto itself. You're not trudging through an endless, joyless climb, always dissatisfied, always reaching for something you can't have. No. Each level has its own fullness, its own gifts, its own perfection. You can be completely satisfied exactly where you are while remaining open to what's next. This is the paradox of the infinite path. You're already whole, already complete, already perfect exactly as you are, and you're simultaneously becoming more whole, more complete, more perfect. Both truths coexist. The journey never ends, and you never lack anything. You're constantly arriving at new levels of yourself while already being completely yourself. Think about a tree. A sapling is a complete tree, fully itself, perfect in its saplingness. But it's also becoming a mature tree. The mature tree is complete, perfect in its maturity, but it's also becoming an ancient tree. The ancient tree is complete, but it's still growing, still changing, still becoming until the day it returns to soil. At every stage, it's both complete and evolving. You are that tree, perfect now, becoming more, always. The infinite path also means you need to release attachment to specific milestones or markers of success. When I heal this wound, then I'll be okay. When I reach this level of consciousness, then I'll be complete. When I achieve this transformation, then I'll be done. These markers are illusions. They're the ego trying to turn spiritual growth into achievement, trying to make it something you can check off a list. But consciousness doesn't work that way. There's no graduation ceremony, no certificate of completion, no final level where you unlock all the secrets and transcend all struggles. Instead, there's this moment, and then the next moment, and the next. Each one an opportunity to choose love over fear, consciousness over unconsciousness, expansion over contraction. Each one a new invitation to become more of who you are. The infinite path requires you to make peace with uncertainty. If the path never ends, you'll never have all the answers. You'll never reach complete understanding. You'll never achieve perfect clarity about everything. There will always be mystery, always unknowing, always questions that can't be fully answered. This is good. Mystery is what keeps life interesting. Unknowing is what keeps you humble. Questions are what keep you growing. The infinite path also means your purpose evolves. What you're here to do now might not be what you're here to do in 5 years. The contribution you're making today might not be the contribution you'll make tomorrow. This isn't because you got your purpose wrong. It's because your purpose is dynamic, not static. It grows as you grow. You're not meant to figure out one thing and do it forever. You're meant to keep listening, keep following the thread, keep allowing your purpose to reveal itself in new forms. What feels true today is true today. What feels true tomorrow will be true tomorrow. Both can be honored without contradiction. This requires flexibility, willingness to let go of identities you've claimed, openness to surprising yourself. Trust that who you're becoming is allowed to be different from who you've been, even who you thought you'd always be. Some people will struggle with this. They'll want you to stay consistent, predictable, the person they've always known. But you're on an infinite path. You're allowed to outgrow past versions of yourself. You're allowed to evolve beyond what others expect. You're allowed to continue becoming, even when others want you to stop changing. The infinite path is also infinite in depth, not just length. You're not just moving forward, you're going deeper, deeper into presence, deeper into love, deeper into truth, deeper into consciousness. There are layers upon layers of your own being to discover, dimensions of reality to explore, subtleties of experience to perceive. You could spend a lifetime on a single aspect of the path, mastering presence or embodying love or understanding consciousness, and never exhaust it. The depth is infinite, the richness is inexhaustible. This means you don't need to rush. You don't need to speed through the journey trying to get somewhere. You can slow down, you can savor, you can go deep instead of wide. You can spend years exploring a single teaching, a single practice, a single question, and find more in it than you ever imagined. The infinite path asks you to surrender your attachment to outcomes while remaining fully engaged with the process. You're not working toward some future state where everything will finally be okay. You're discovering that everything is already okay, even as it continues to evolve. You're learning to be at peace with not knowing how it all turns out, while still showing up fully to each moment. This is advanced work. This is mastery-level consciousness. To be both completely relaxed about where you're going and completely committed to the journey. To have no destination while moving with purpose. To need nothing while continuously growing. And here's what happens when you truly embrace the infinite path. You stop being so serious. You lighten up. You realize that if this is infinite, if there's no finish line, then you might as well enjoy it. You might as well play. You might as well experiment, take risks, try new things, fail spectacularly, laugh at yourself, and keep going. The infinite path is an adventure, not a chore. It's a dance, not a march. It's play, not work. When you stop trying to arrive somewhere, you finally begin to enjoy where you are. So here you are, on a path that never ends, growing into more and more of yourself, forever, discovering depths within you that you never knew existed eternally, becoming something new while remaining eternally yourself. This is your inheritance. This is your nature. This is the glorious, magnificent truth of what you are, an infinite being on an infinite path, capable of infinite growth, expressing infinite creativity, experiencing infinite love. There is no end to how much light you can embody, no limit to how much love you can express, no ceiling to how much consciousness you can access. The path stretches before you, behind you, within you, endless, beautiful, full of wonder, and you get to walk it, not until you're done, because you'll never be done. Forever, eternally, infinitely. This is not a curse. This is the greatest gift imaginable. Welcome to the infinite path. Enjoy the journey. It's going to last forever. Chapter 20. Final activation. The power of your light. This is it. The moment you've been building toward through every chapter, every insight, every practice, every challenge. The moment where you fully claim what you've become. The moment where you activate consciously and completely the power of your light. You've learned so much. You've grown so deeply. You've transformed so profoundly. But now it's time to embody it all. To integrate everything you've discovered into one cohesive, powerful, radiant expression of your true self. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let yourself arrive fully in this moment. Feel your body in the chair, on the floor, wherever you are. Feel the air on your skin. Feel your heartbeat. You are here. You are alive. You are ready. Bring your awareness to your heart center, that space in the middle of your chest. Imagine there's a light there, a small flame glowing softly. This is your light, the light you were born with, the light that has been with you through everything, the light that has never, not for one moment, gone out. See it clearly. What color is it? How bright? Can you feel its warmth? This light is your essence. It's your truth, your power, your divinity, expressing in physical form. Now, remember your journey. Think back to where you were when you started this path. The confusion, the pain, the limitation, the disconnection. See that version of yourself with compassion, with love, with appreciation for their courage to begin this journey. And now see how far you've come. Feel the growth, feel the healing, feel the expansion. You are not who you were. You have transformed, and that transformation is real, permanent, powerful. As you acknowledge this, feel the light in your heart growing brighter. With each recognition of your growth, it intensifies, it expands, it radiates more strongly. Now consciously choose to amplify this light. Take a deep breath in, and as you do, imagine you're breathing energy directly into this flame. See it growing larger, brighter, more powerful. With each breath, it expands, filling your chest, filling your torso, filling your entire body. Your body is filled with light now, every cell illuminated, every atom vibrating with this radiant energy. You are not just containing light, you are becoming light. Light in human form, consciousness expressing as brilliance. Feel this light beginning to radiate beyond your body. See it expanding past your skin, creating a field of light around you. This is your energy field, your aura, now blazing with the power of your transformation. This light carries your frequency, the unique vibration of who you've become. It carries your love, your wisdom, your compassion, your strength, your truth. It carries the energy of all the healing you've done, all the limitations you've released, all the growth you've embodied. And this light is magnetic. Feel how it attracts, how it draws to you everything that matches your frequency, the people who resonate with your truth, the opportunities that align with your purpose, the experiences that serve your highest good, all of it being pulled into your field by the power of your light. See this light expanding further, beyond your immediate space, filling the room you're in, flowing through the walls, spreading through your home. Your light is touching everyone in your household, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, uplifting them, healing them, blessing them with your radiant presence. Now see it expanding into your neighborhood, your community, your city. Your light is reaching out, touching thousands of people. Some feel it consciously, a sudden sense of hope, of possibility, of warmth. Others feel it unconsciously, a subtle shift in their mood, a momentary easing of their burden. All are touched by your light. Expand it further, your region, your country. Your light is spreading across the land, touching millions now. See it as ripples in a vast ocean, spreading out from you in all directions. Everywhere your light touches, something shifts. Consciousness rises, love increases, fear decreases, healing happens. Now expand your light to encompass the entire planet. See yourself from space, a glowing point of light on the surface of the earth. And see your light spreading across the globe, joining with the light of every other awakened being. See how many lights there are, millions of them, creating a network of radiance across the planet. You are part of this network. You are not alone. You are one of countless beings who have done the work, who have awakened, who are holding and spreading light. Together you are illuminating the world. Together you are shifting the collective consciousness. Together you are creating the new earth. Feel the power of this. Feel the significance of your contribution. You matter. Your light matters. Your transformation has made a difference to the entire planet, even if you can't see all the ways it has rippled out. Now, bring your awareness back to yourself, but keep the sense of expansion. Feel yourself as both individual and universal, both personal and cosmic, both unique and connected to everything. Speak these words aloud or in your mind with full conviction. I am light. I have always been light. I will always be light. I am awake. I am powerful. I am free. I am love embodied. I am consciousness expressed. I am the universe experiencing itself as me. Feel the truth of these words resonating through your entire being, not as affirmation, not as hope, but as recognition of what is actually true. I claim my power. I claim my purpose. I claim my place in the collective awakening. I am here to shine. I am here to grow. I am here to love. I am here to create. I am here to serve. I am here to be fully, magnificently, unapologetically myself. Feel your entire body vibrating with these truths. Feel your light responding, pulsing, radiating with renewed power. I commit to my continued evolution. I commit to tending my light. I commit to walking this infinite path with consciousness, with courage, with joy. I commit to being the change I wish to see. I commit to living my truth regardless of what others think. I commit to loving beyond fear. I commit to creating from my highest vision. I commit to serving the collective good. I commit to being light in the world. Feel these commitments anchoring into your being, not as burden but as sacred vows, not as obligation but as joyful dedication. Now, imagine yourself 6 months from now. See yourself living these commitments. See yourself shining even brighter than you are now. See yourself embodying even more of your truth. What are you doing? How are you being? Who are you touching? What are you creating? See it vividly. Feel it completely. Know that this future is not fantasy. It's potential becoming reality through your commitment and your light. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, 5 years from now. See the exponential growth. See how your light has amplified. See the impact you've made. See the life you've created. See the person you've become. All of this is possible. All of this is waiting for you. All of this is already unfolding through your choices, your consciousness, your light. Bring yourself back to now. Open your eyes when you're ready, but carry this activation with you. You are not the person you were before this visualization. Something has shifted. Something has activated. Something has clicked into place. The power of your light is now fully online, not because you've added something you didn't have, but because you've finally claimed what was always yours. This is not the end. This is the beginning, the real beginning. Everything until now has been preparation. Now you actually walk the path as the being you've discovered yourself to be. Now you actually live your transformation. Now you actually embody your light. The world is waiting for you, not a future you that's more healed, more prepared, more perfect. The you that exists right now, reading these words, feeling this activation, carrying this light. You are ready, you are powerful, you are light. Now go, shine, create, love, serve, live, be. Be the light you've discovered yourself to be. Be the change you wish to see. Be the love the world needs. Be the consciousness the planet is calling for. You are not alone. You are supported. You are guided. You are loved. You are part of something so much bigger than yourself. Yet you are essential to it. This is your activation. This is your initiation into mastery. This is your invitation to step fully into your power. Accept it. Claim it. Embody it. Live it. Your light is needed. Your gifts are necessary. Your presence matters. The world needs you, exactly as you are, shining exactly as you shine. So shine. Brilliantly, boldly, without apology, without restraint. Shine with everything you've got. Shine like the sun. Shine like the star you are, because that's what you are, a star, a light, a force of consciousness and love and creative power. And this is your time, your moment, your activation. Welcome to your power. Welcome to your light. Welcome to the rest of your life. Now go live it in full brightness, in complete authenticity, in total magnificence. You are light. Now walk as light forever. This is who you are. This is what you came here to do. This is your destiny, your purpose, your truth. You are activated. You are empowered. You are ready. Now go change the world by being the light you are. The rest is up to you. And you've got this. You've always had this. Now you know it. Shine on, beautiful light. Shine on.